Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive. And alive.
I'm so great I gotta say it twice and cut it out once. My head's a syrup bottle that's getting tipped over every Wednesday. You're a storyteller in a storytelling podcast, and the only story you're telling now is a story about stories you don't want to tell! What the fuck? Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Folks, let's all make an agreement. Let's all join hands. Let's all stare each other in the eyes. You guys can look directly into your iPod vagina, and it's hazel-colored right now because you're looking directly into the eyes of one Michael Schmidt. Let us never, ever, let us all agree right now, never to do a 4-hour show ever again. Can we do that? Can we just stare at one another and by mutual agreement decide there's no reason at all for one man to talk for 4 hours and a group of thousands to sit there and listen to him talk for 4 hours? I'm going to need you on record for this, folks. I'm going to need you to definitely back me up and say, yeah, we agree with that, Mike, because I will not hear any sort of dissension. I will not hear of anyone saying to me, no, we wish you would do 4, because people have written me. They're all like, oh my God, they're so, and there was some mythical barrier that I burst with the 4-hour show, apparently, last week that made everybody really happy. Like they were celebrating. Like people wrote me, and my favorite part was people just write. They were just like 4-hour show. Like they would just write that with exclamation points, and I picture them being so happy. And I'm like, oh, if only all of you knew what Lily Von Stupp looked like right now at this moment. And she had to deal she made a joke. She's like, that 4-hour show took 20 hours, and that's probably not a lie. That's probably not a lie because, she's got to sit here while I do it, and then she's got to listen through to it once to hear, like, if there's any mistakes or things that she's got to fix, and she's got to go through and fix whatever she's got to fix. Then she has to listen to it again to make sure that it's right. So that alone is 12 hours, all right? That alone, and 12, that's specious. 12 is... That just in real time, that's 12 hours of show that she has to listen to. But if you also, because I wasn't kidding, and I think I said this, look, I didn't listen to last week's show. I'm not going to lie to you folks. I barely wanted to talk last week's show. But I know at some point in there I mentioned that we had cut out a lot of show. That's not a joke. That's not, I had to, did I say in the show that I actually had to come back the next day and do the show? All right, good. Because I don't remember. It's a blur, man. Fuck, I came here at like 6:30 in the morning and finished it and then just went home and fucking zombied out. Like I had no fucking clue where we were at or what we were doing. And it was so great that everybody was so excited and enthused. And because believe me, that's all I want. Like I make myself talk because I have this weird arbitrary deadline because I want you guys to be happy. And I want you to be like, yes, it's great. We're so happy. And then I did the 4-hour show. And my favorite thing, this is my favorite thing I wrote at all about it to anybody. Some guy wrote on my Facebook wall, because again, everybody is hilarious on America's Yearbook. Everyone is so funny in America's Yearbook. They like to chime in with it, tell me that I'm too good to be forgotten at all times on my page. Good for you. But a listener to the show wrote down, he went in and he wrote, 4 hours. Mike, we're not paid to listen to the show, right? And then another guy wrote underneath him, our friend Casey wrote, we're paid with genius. And so I went in there and I just wrote to the other guy. The first guy wrote, hey, you're fired. And to Casey, I wrote, grab your things and take Mark's office. That was my favorite thing I wrote. As if you are all my employees. You all work for me. Because, let's put it this way. It is work listening to this motherfucking show, particularly when it's a 4-hour goddamn show. I can't even imagine in the morning when you guys hit download and you saw 403, you're just like, oh, and some people are great. I don't want to say names and shit, but there's an over-the-road trucker who listens to me, and he's like, thank God. Like, he's so happy. He would have me talk forever. I'm surprised he hasn't just emailed me his fucking phone number or his CB handle and said, hey, let's talk all night, breaker. Look, I'm already talking to Joe Walsh on fucking ham radio and our friend Tom. Why the fuck wouldn't I just fucking breaker with the fucking rubber duck for a while? God damn it. I can go Spider Mike. I'll take Spider Mike. Franklin and Jai's not using Spider Mike anymore, right? Have you guys seen Convoy? If you haven't seen Convoy, see Convoy. Convoy was premiering on cable the month I got cable. I've told this story many times. On cable, I watched a movie called, the first time we got cable, all right, what was I, 12? No, I was 78. I was, 10, 11. And Jaws was on. So we watched Jaws. We watched the fuck out of Jaws. I mean, that's all we did was we watched it over and over and over. But then, Jaws wasn't on all the time, but we had movie channels, and it was just amazing to watch television where people swore. We were so happy about it. So we wound up watching other movies. I've mentioned this. We watched Tommy over and fucking over. To the point where I know the words of the movie, not just the album. I know the words of the movie, for fuck's sake. And then we also watched Convoy, which was Chris Christopherson played a renegade trucker who's taking on the establishment with our friend Ernie Borgnine, who unfortunately passed away this past week. And I will tell you, because look, none of you follow me on Twitter, so I will just repeat my tweets to you, because what the hell, maybe eventually you'll decide you need to follow me. But Ernest Borgnine died on the same day Kourtney Kardashian gave birth, and I wrote, and as is ever thus, the Ernie Llama has been reincarnated. Come on, folks. I'm the best, right? I'm great. All right, so no, I'm not. Don't follow me. Literally on Twitter, I'm right close to 2,000 followers. Like, I'm very close, but then I'll lose a few. It's this weird scramble. I'm in the 1980s, which could not make more sense, right? Really, when you think about it, that's exactly where I should be. I should be right at like 1,984 followers, because that's where my fucking brain is at. Because I'm a goddamn child. But so anyway, these. But I think only 3 real people follow me. And then the rest of the people, it's robots, because I'll get followed by I get followed by a spa, and then I wonder, did they hear me talking about massages and jerking off on the podcast, and a spa just lurked? Do they have there's like a bot that comes podcasts for spa and massage, and then they just jump in and follow me? I have no idea. I was talking about something. Oh, Convoy. So Convoy, man, we watched that movie over and over. And yeah, so it's Chris Christopherson is a renegade trucker, and Ernest Borgnine is he's Lyle, this sheriff from Texas, and then of course Burt Young and Franklin Ajayi are there, and they hook up with the rubber duck and they form a convoy. They're going to form a big old convoy, rocking through the night. And they just drive cross country, and they honk horns, and they wind up in fights. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And then Lyle, somehow they arrest Franklin Ajayi and there's a big bar fight. Dude, it doesn't make any sense, because then eventually the governor is meeting with a truck driver. It's just so stupid, but it's awesome. I can't stop watching it. Ally McGraw's in it, and she's like the love interest. And Ally McGraw, look, folks, I don't know who enjoys 11-year-old boys and says that, wow, that's sexy. And if you do, I fuck you. Jump in front of a train and kill yourself at this point. Unless, check that. If you're an 11-year-old girl, I apologize. You do not have to jump in front of a train. If you're an 11-year-old girl and you find 11-year-old boys interesting and sexy, good for you. Because that's exactly your speed at this point. Don't fucking play above your game. You don't want to do that. Don't be dating. Don't be Kelly Dunk. All right, do not be Kelly Dunk. That's a girl I went to 8th grade with who was dating like a senior in high school. Yeah, no kidding. Wearing eye makeup and cable knit sweaters. God damn it. Is that you? Is that what you, Lily? Lily Dunk? Back in the old days when Lily prowled her high school hallways wearing her purple swimsuit. All right, folks, if you're not friends with Lily Munched Up on Facebook, you must become friends with Lily Munched Up on Facebook, because she started to post her past. It's fuck that. That Rocky Horror Picture is awesome. Yeah, those you come on, you can play games and be self-deprecating, but you're sexy in these pictures. She put up these old pictures, and she looks great. She looks really good in them. But again, it's that again, no offense, I like you, Lily. You're my friend. I love you. But people always do that. They'll put up a picture of them in a bikini from like 20 years ago when they look fucking amazing, and they'll write something like, "Oh gosh, look at this idiot. Who's this?" And it's like, yeah, that's you posting your fucking swimsuit from 20 years ago because you know how great you looked. So don't even fucking try to play the game of, wow, how did this get here? Fuck that. You know how it got there.
That's not what I wrote. I said it's amazing what a Coke diet can do for
Yes,
you.
but you still had to throw in that self-deprecating nonsense. But the whole point was, look at me in this bikini. That's the whole thing.
Of course. Look
Yes.
at the bikini. I was proud. I looked fantastic in it.
There's a girl.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to say names. All right, but there's on Facebook, I'm friends with somebody who I went to school with. All right. And it's funny, as you get older, you see the people on Facebook, and I'm a fat mess, but I was a fat mess in high school. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. Things haven't changed much. I may have encased myself in more of a barrel of fat. I mean, I've put on probably since high school, I've put on about, I'd say, well, right now, Was I 300 in high school? I don't think I was. But I will tell you this, by the way. Let's just deviate. Remember I got to get back to that. But I'm back at the gym and working out. I've been, and so now I walk like Frankenstein. It's the fucking weirdest thing because I'm going to train with my trainer, and then on the off days I go do cardio. I've been walking 2 miles a day on the treadmill, in addition to seeing my trainer three times a week now. But I just got back doing it last week. And your thighs are so angry at you. I mean, they're just like, what are you doing, you dick? We were content. We were fine. Don't you want to sit down and watch TV again? Wasn't that great? Wasn't that fun? Well, yes, it sort of was, but at the same time, thighs, you're going to be encased around, you're just dying. We're dying. We're dying together. Thighs. Because then, when I'm bedridden, you're going to be like, well, no, you should be, that's why I should use you now, because eventually we're going to be bedridden from the diabetes and horrible things that have happened to our body, right? We're going to be ravaged. All of us know we're going to be ravaged. I'm not going to be Jim Fix, die on that fucking jogging trail. That's not going to fucking happen. Inevitably, I'm going to die in a chocolate-filled bed. I mean, we know that's going to happen, right? And my legs are just like, yay! My legs are excited about that for when the day comes. But right now, fuck, I have to talk them out of it. Right now, we got to run, we got to walk, we got to do stuff. I got to use you, legs. You're still legs at this point. All right. You know what? I'm recording this now, and 10 years later, we'll play it for my legs. Like, it's like that weird. You ever see those guys who record a thing for their kid? Oh, when you grow up, you can watch this videotape. Well, my legs can watch this fucking, or listen, they can't watch it. God, don't watch this. You would get nowhere. Come on, legs, shape up. I hope they invent leg buds by then. So I go work out, and it's like, and now, and I will tell you this again, there's nothing better than rediscovering your muscles. Where all of a sudden, you're like, Jesus Christ, I forgot I had pecs. This is awesome. Even though the fact is that they're sore as a motherfucker, and I can't even like reach for a soda without going, not a soda, a drink, Propel. I was going to say salt. This is the dumbest thing. My head wanted to say you can't reach for the salt, but I don't eat salt ever, like on food. Like I don't put salt on food. So then the audible my brain called was soda, even though I don't drink soda anymore. There you go, folks. There's a peek into my process. My head wanted to say, my mouth wanted to say salt, but my head went with soda, even though I don't use either of those products. But I had the S in mind. I didn't want. What else am I going to be reaching for? Fucking Sasquatch? Not going to happen. All right, so, folks. I'll get to it in a second, but I'm going to the gym now and I'm working out. So I work, and it's that terrible thing where because you're starting over. And I remember where I was when I was a machine, and like I was doing sit-ups, and Richard was punching me in the stomach. Did I ever tell that story? Dude, I was a fucking animal. And I was like, when I was at like, fucking 270 and I got down to 270 working out hard and fucking, 18% body fat, I would do sit-ups and crunches, and then he would bounce a medicine ball off my fucking stomach. Or I made him hit me in the stomach. We would punch. I would, throw punches and kicks. And he had hand mitts like that you would punch. I made him wear the mitt, and I'd do a crunch, and then bam, he would smack me in the stomach like fucking crazy Rocky stuff. And I was just like, yeah, fucking, and people would come around like, that guy's a fucking psychopath. Stay out of his way. Because then I would tie kick the fucking mats, and they would make this booming noise all throughout the fucking gym. Even with people, treadmills and TV and everything, you just hear this whap, whap, as my shin sent fucking Richard hopping backwards a foot and a half. And then he'd walk up, and I'd fucking kick him again, and people would gather around to watch me kick the mat. Or the pad, I should say. Well, yeah, in the old days, that was me. It was great. It was fantastic. And now, people gather around to see if I'm going to die during my workout. I had to sit Richard down and I go, look, because I've done nothing. I'm in no kind of shape. So when we're working out, he does this thing. He's like shock the body. So he's like, there's different things. So I have to do high knees, into lunges, into bear crawls, into fucking push-ups, into using the Bozu ball to do planking, into doing lunges, and it's all. I don't know if it's isometric or plyometric or fucking metric system. I don't know. It's using your own body weight against you, okay? And he's doing that because, again, I have no strength base. I have nothing except for what I carry around with me, and so he's using that. So we worked out a couple times doing that, and then I at the end of the workout, I took him aside. I go, I got to talk to you. I go, this is not working for me. Just doing that because I feel like a 5-year-old at recess. Doing jumping jacks and then doing a maypole, and it's like, dude, I need aggression. I need weights. I need you to work weights into this, either doing cleans or fucking curls or stuff over my whatever the fuck. You got to work barbells into this somehow. Because I feel like such a pussy just standing there and going, hi ya ya ya, hi ya ya. I mean, fuck that, dude. Again, this isn't Jack LaLanne. I am not in my living room watching fucking Jane Fonda in a singlet, all right? I need to fucking work out. And hard, and I want to fucking vomit, but hit me, and I want to hit people. I mean, it's like this weird, I have aggression and testosterone, and I need to use it. And he's just like, okay, cool. So the last workout we did, it was essentially, we did it in the same spot, but the whole time, I just had like 40 pounds with me, and he's just like, all right, you're going to put that over your head and just do fucking tries and while you're doing lunges. So he's incorporating it into the fucking ridiculous 5th grade recess bullshit that I have to do, which is fine. I don't care as long as because again, folks, this is terrible, but it's true. The hardest part about going to the gym is dealing with the embarrassment of going to the gym and trying to get to a level that you think you should be at, and having to look at people who are more fit than you or have to watch them walk by as you're doing a push-up or not doing a push-up. Once you do, I'm on the Bozu ball and I'm balanced and I do 25 push-ups, and then he's like, all right, get up and then do more, and you're just like, dude, honestly, my abs and my arms are shot, so let's figure something else out. And it's so fucking embarrassing when your body it quits on you, and because I even said to him, I told you this before, there's pain that you're supposed to fight through and pain that you're supposed to stop. And I'll ask him constantly, I go, am I supposed to fight through this? He'll go, yeah. I go, great, let's do it. So you just do it. And luckily I haven't found any pain that makes me stop yet. So Portland, I mean, it's funny because our friend KC in Portland, she's like, hey, I've been in Puerto Rico. I don't know what's going on with your workouts. And I'm like, they're not being covered in Puerto Rico? That's astonishing to me. What else are they reporting on down there? You haven't gotten the Sugarcane Weekly? Why didn't you find that and see the story about Mike Schmidt's workouts? Should be right there on the front page. Down there in the Poverty Tribune, you haven't been able to pick that up in Puerto Rico? In the Plantain Bugle? I don't know what the fuck else they eat down there. Jesus Christ. This made me laugh. She's like, I've been in Puerto Rico. What is going on with your workouts? Well, I cannot believe there hasn't been a bulletin on Puerto Rican television. In between Mambo shows. They do the Mambo in Puerto Rico? I don't do it. Which number? Probably number 5, right? Yeah, I would think so. Well, no, only Pamela and Renee do it down there. I think Angela does it too. Maybe Monica. Nah, only a little bit of Monica. She doesn't go the full way with the Mambo. Certainly not number 5. Monica, every other Mambo, Monica can give you full out. She does not fuck around. Every other Mambo, Monica is present and accounted for and giving you full 100% effort. But with Mambo number 5, she's a little bit of Monica will do. All right, so. God damn it, that's funny to me. All right, that's not funny. Lily's shaking her head. She's like, that's not funny. I know it isn't, but to me it's funny. There's dumb things that are funny to me. Knowing the lyrics to Mambo number 5 and treating them as if they were real people, that makes me laugh, folks. And I think we can all agree that if you're doing Mambo number 5, a little bit of Monica goes a long way, and a little bit of Rita is all you need. Because you would think I would want Rita to be there for all of Mambo number 5. No, because that's not my choice. Monica has decided to only put a little bit of herself in, but Rita has come full floor. She's like, I'm ready to do Mambo number 5. You know what? Just a little bit of you, Rita. That'll take care of it. All right. The fuck was I talking about? So, working out. So I go work out, and I'm there in the gym, and it's the personal training place is right in you walk in my gym, and it's to the immediate left, and it's before the pool. It's not as bad as I'm making it sound, where everybody just gets to gawk at you. But the problem is, it's right by the workout, the classroom where they have different classes for yoga and bullshit like that. Which, by the way, I'm going to start my yoga next week. The only problem is, I had all these grandiose plans for doing yoga and all this other bullshit. I'm going to work out with Richard 3 times a week and then do cardio 7 times a week, 2 miles a day, upping it to 3 miles a day in August. And yeah. I got to get ready for Portland. I got a fucking fire to run through. I can't have that fail on me in the middle of running through a fire. And because if it does, good on me. I mean, if I'm going to fail, I want to fail in the fire pit and die. I literally would just lay there and get roasted in the fire pit. That's fine. I mean, whatever the fuck they have with the Warrior Dash. You know what? I've created this monolith in my head of what the Warrior Dash is. I think it's a lot worse than I'm making it sound. Check that. It is not as bad as I'm making it sound. I hope it's not a lot worse than I'm making it sound. That would be horrific, because I have to think at the end of in my brain I have to fight a guy. Like right at the end, it's like I got to jump through flames, I got to climb a fucking wall, I got to have a joust, I got to wrestle a bear at some point, and then right near the end is just Mike Tyson in gloves. I got to fucking fight him to get past. Then you're a true warrior, folks. You know what? Actually, maybe I just got to dash past Mike Tyson. But again, as we all know, my legs are not up for it. Right now, anyway. But a few more weeks of girly lunges and I'll be ready to go. How great. And you remember the girly lunges, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They opened for the Deftones back in the 90s. The girly lunges. So I go to the gym, and I'm working out there, and nothing horrible has happened, thankfully. Nothing bad. I just show up, and I go over, and I just start. But the thing is, I'm working out there, and then all of a sudden a Zumba class shows up. But they're there early, so they're waiting outside in the hallway, so they get to watch me do my girly lunges, and I'm like, oh, but I will say this: not a lot of hot people in the Zumba class at my certainly not the times I've seen them. It's all a lot of older ladies, and then the Zumba instructor walked in, and she was like Rita Moreno, which sounds great, except Rita Moreno is 905 years old. Again, super sexy and crazy hot, and even now Rita Moreno is totally sexy. And this woman had like an old lady Zumba thing happening. So it was like, yeah, I almost wanted to hang out just to see her Zumba-ing. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see her Zumba with a zoom. Shake your old rump, lady. But because Rex and Effect were there, they were at the Zumba class. It's called the Rump Shaker. I'm going to do all these old 90s songs for you. Yay. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, Marcy Playground Podcast. Wasn't it Marcy Playground? Who did they sing Sex and Candy, right? That's them? And who are the people who sang The Way? Fastball? Jesus Christ. You know, the 90s are a graveyard of music. Jesus Christ. But not really. I mean, because there's still Pearl Jam and Amazing, and Prince put out some good stuff, and Nirvana, and the Pixies, and fucking, there were bands that were there doing stuff. But holy shit, were there some bad things? But not really. Fuck that. I have them on my iPod. I bought the fucking Crash Test Dummies. Is that 90s? I bought that shit. Yeah, but you know what's so funny? That guy, like, I when you hear it, you're like, wow, that's a deep voice, and then you're like, well, I wonder if I could, because I can get my voice, if I can drop register. I mean, not even close to that dude. Not even, because I've tried to sing along with it on the radio, and I'm like, all right, I can pull that off. But it's like, no, I cannot. I can't. What am I? I'm not a tenor, but what am I? I don't even know what the fuck my voice is.
Probably an alto. Most people are.
Alto? I don't want to be most people. Fuck that. What am I? I'm different. I'm a super alto. If everybody's an alto, fuck that. I'm a cut above or below. I want to be a shitty alto. I just want to be bad. A terrible alto or a good alto. I don't want to be just like everybody else, an alto. Fuck that. All right. So I'm working out, and there's Zumba people waiting to go Zumba. And then the old lady comes in, and she meets me, because Richard, I love Richard, but Jesus Christ, he's the friendliest dude. And so everybody who walks by, they know him, so he knows them. So he introduces them, and he goes, Big Mike right here. And they'll look at him, and I'm doing a lunge. Hi, nice to see you. I'm fat and sweaty. And it's just, he'll even say to me, like, I'll be working out, and he'll just go, all right, how you feeling? I go, old. And he just laughs, but I go, I'm serious, old and fat. I go, this is awful. He's like, you'll be fine. It's just, you got to get through these initial things. And I go, good. That's because I have goals, and we talked about it, and that's fine. But it's just, they're so hard to focus on when you're there and you're doing it. And you're like, God damn it, I feel so terribly weak and so awful. And then you're furious because you remember what you were. You remember what you used to be. And that gets to youth and all sorts of bullshit. But I mean, in my youth even, I wasn't like, I could do shit, but I wasn't like strong and everything. I never envisioned myself as any sort of guy in shape. I mean, I could hurt people and do things, but I mean, that's not the same thing as being an athlete or someone who's in good shape. Whatever. But then when I started to get into shape, it was like, oh, it was so great. I remember it. You remember the looks you would get from people, and things were different. You felt different. Seriously. And you want to get there again. It's great, and I will. But for now, though, unfortunately, I'm doing girly lunges in front of a bunch of old lady Zumba players. Are they playing? Is it a game? I'm not sure. Look, folks, Zumba's not a game. Fuck that. You might think it is, but it's not. Actually, you know what? It is. It's the world's most dangerous game. Zumba. I can tell you this, alphabetically, it's the last game you'll ever play. All right. So there's people waiting for the Zumba class, and they're watching me, and then Richard is introducing me, and then I finish working out, and at the end of the workout, I get stretched up. And I've talked about this before. My balls came out of my shorts before when I was, like, getting stretched up. So I'm very conscious of where my balls are at all times, especially with these poor old ladies out there to Zumba. Because that's not going to, nobody wants to go into a Zumba with a vision of my bag in their head. Nobody wants that, right? I don't think so. Well, maybe they do. Maybe that inspires them to Zumba the day away. Maybe like, you know what? I'll tell you what, put it in your head, the vision of my bag, and you will move faster than you ever moved in your life because you're trying to get away from it. You're trying to run away from the imagery of me on my back with my fucking bag hanging out. All right, so I go to get stretched out, and all these people are Hispanic because my gym is in the middle of Mexico. And I'm getting stretched, and even Richard knows Spanish and stuff, and he actually knows Portuguese too, I think. So he's stretching me and pulling me and taffying me, and that's fine. And but then he's got a new thing. They've added a new thing at the gym, and I laughed. I was like, no, seriously? He goes, yeah, serious. So he flips me over because I start on my back and he stretches my legs. Yes. He's stretching my legs, up toward my fucking head, and I will tell you this, I'm pretty flexible and fairly bendy. So he can like stretch my leg up, and it can go. I can get it past my waist and on a little more of an angle, so I can get it at 10 o'clock basically. If the clock were, don't put too much thought into this, folks. But I can stretch. So he's stretching me, and he stretches me sideways and then twists me around. But then I think we're done because and then he stretches my back. And that's the way it used to be. But then he's like, oh, no, hold on, there's more. Flip over. I'm like, what? He goes, get on your stomach. And I'm like, all right. So I get on my stomach, and he grabs a blue. You ever see those pool noodles? You know what those are? All right. Well, he's got a bigger one, like a thicker one. And he comes over, and I just lay down, and he just puts it on my back, and he just starts rolling it on me. Like a rolling pin, like you're making bread. And then he's rolling it on my back and on my legs, and it's fucking amazing because it loosens you up. I didn't realize it, and my lower back is all fucked anyway. So then he puts it on there, and he's like, and it's essentially kneading out knots with this smooth thing. But look, if I thought I looked stupid before, like you should just sprinkle caraway seeds all over me as I lay there like a big fucking hunk of rye bread in a black shirt and sweat. I mean, it's just awful. And he's rolling this pool noodle on me, and the Zumba ladies are all like kind of tittering and like looking, and he looks up at them, and I'll never be able to say it right, but he was like, "Unde pancakeoso," or some bullshit. And I was like, "What did you say?" And he goes, "I told him you're a pancake." Because when he said it, they all started cracking up, and I'm like, what did you say about me? And he goes, "I told him you're a pancake." And he just keeps rolling the fucking thing on me. I'm like, yes, I'm a big fat pancake, Zumba people. Isn't that fantastic? God damn it, I'm a human McGriddle. That's what it's come to. I was going to get into shape, and Richard turns me into a goddamn human McGriddle for a bunch of 80-year-old Mexican women who are about to go Zumba their asses off to Hanson. They are. Hanson is it. They're very prominent in the Zumba world. Bop 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 diddy bop bop bop. Ooh, that guy's a fat pancake. Ooh, yay. All right. I don't have. I need Hanson on my iPod. I don't have any Hanson. I do. I truly need it. Because I have Fastway. I have Third Eye Blind. I have them somewhere. I have all that like 90s. I do not have Smash Mouth. I will tell you this. I don't want Smash Mouth. I don't. Although Walking on the Sun, the first time I ever heard it, I was like, that's a pretty cool song. And then they ruined it by being Smash Mouth the rest of the time. They continued their Smash Mouth ways. Change it up, Smash Mouth. Which actually I guess they did because the first song was so unique and different and fun and cool. And then they went ahead and made a bunch of shit. So I was like, all right. And who am I to criticize Smash Mouth? I'm sure they're out there today playing a fair. Right now, at any point, they always say like it's somewhere in the world the Flintstones are on any time of day. I guarantee you right now, at some point, at any time in the world, there are people eating a hot dog watching Smash Mouth. I guarantee it. There are people eating funnel cake watching Smash Mouth somewhere in the world at any given moment. I think they've actually farted themselves out. There's like multiple Smash Mouths that play all the countries of the world. Except Puerto Rico. We know that they're not in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico doesn't get any news down there. They have no idea. They don't even know Smash Mouth exists. Holy shit. What an opportunity for Smash Mouth. Guys, get on a plane. There's one part of the world you haven't alienated yet. Get down there immediately. There's got to be Smash Mouths all over this planet, right? Just it's like a plague of Smash Mouths. Just playing all, and there must be even like a Bizarro Smash Mouth that it gets it just a little bit wrong. They're like Gallagher 2. Like Gallagher 2, he took Gallagher's act, but then he was just not as good as the original. And let me tell you, if you're going to be not as good as the original Smash Mouth, you've really got to be bad. I mean, that's really, you got to be seriously in the tank. You got to be really making mistakes. Like, hey, now you're an all-pro. Like, they got to be doing that kind of stuff. Bizarro Smash Mouth. They're just like off just a little bit. They nail it otherwise, but they're just, right now you're walking on the earth. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, I know 2 Smash Mouth songs. Did they have some? I think they had one other hit too. And you know what? And good for fucking Smash Mouth. Fuck me, all right? You know, like I said, go to Puerto Rico and become stars all over again because they don't have any fucking clue what's going on over there. What an opportunity for you guys. Hop on a plane. But in reality, if you write a song that can be used on vacuum commercials for the rest of your life, good for you. It's not even, and I'm not even kidding. There's no such thing as a sellout. There's no such thing as anybody who makes a mistake. If you can write something that you can then market and give to a fucking advertising agency, do it. Otherwise, you're here. You're in a hot stripper's kitchen in hot weather trying to, what are you doing? You're distracting the shit out of me. You know what? This is how much she hates the fucking show. Lily is playing with her fridge magnets. Like, I'm trying to talk, and I glance over, and she's monkeying around. She's playing like fucking weird tic-tac-toe with herself on the goddamn fridge magnets, and then she keeps knocking them onto the ground, and then bending over to pick them up, and then her tits fall out of her shirt, and I gotta look over there. I'm like, because I don't know whether to be mad. Like, I'm mad that she's fucking around with the fridge magnets, or I'm happy that her tits are falling out of her shirt. Like, I can't figure out exactly where to be. All I know is it's fucking distracting as hell. Yeah, okay, whatever. You're sorry. Jesus Christ. I'm talking about Smash Mouth. Well, how can you not pay attention at a time like this? How could you possibly tune me out when I'm talking about Bizarro Smash Mouth? You all right? You spit soda? All right. Yeah, I saw. All right, sorry. Sure. Well, that's okay. Now you can take another 10 minutes to clean it up. God damn it, we're talking about Bizarro Smash Mouth here. Pay attention. I can't have you leave me for dead in the middle of the Smash Mouth fucking discussion. Oh, this is, by the way, this is more times than anyone's ever said Smash Mouth ever. Except for that time people were going, oh my God, you know who I hate? Smash Mouth. I can't stand Smash Mouth. You hate Smash Mouth too? I fucking hate Smash Mouth. I'll bet I hate Smash Mouth more than you do. Bullshit. I hate Smash Mouth more than anybody in the fucking world. That was the only other time people said Smash Mouth more than I'm saying it today. Jesus Christ. I half expect them to show up because I've said it so much. Like Candyman. Smash Mouth is like Candyman. If you say it enough times, they just show up at your house. There's like a knock on the door. You open it up. Right now they're walking on your head because they're mad at you for making fun of them. Smash Mouth. They're not tough. All right. Maybe they are. Who knows? Smash Mouth should be playing live Zumba shows. Like they should actually. It's like they are so terrible and awful, and they've whored themselves out and farmed themselves out enough. They should be willing to show up at random gyms and play the Zumba class. You know what? It doesn't matter. You'd run from it, and that would be more than enough exercise. Lock the doors. Get the Zumba class in there and lock the doors, and then just you know what? It's a time for a Smash Mouth concert, and people would just be running furiously, trying to escape, break down the doors. Walking on the sun. I don't know the rest of the words. It was a go. I couldn't do it in a million years. Oh my God. You know, that's what they sound like. You know who that sounds like? Holy shit. Let me get into this for just a fucking second. Folks, I do not enjoy reality TV. You know that, right? I hate it. Can't stand it. Look, I don't even like reality, period. You put in the TV element of it. Fuck that. Not interested. But, so I'm online, and because all those shows are phony. They're fake. All those shows are, folks, there's like a pawn shop. No, not the pawn shop one, the Repo Man show. And I saw a clip, and these guys were like, this is fucking awesome. So I went and looked at it, and it was, they went to repossess a guy's truck, and then he turned out to be a ninja. And he came out and he did some capoeira moves in the parking lot, and he was beating up a guy, one of the repo guys, and then he beat up a passerby who came to assist. And then there were two repo people. One of them was a big man who looked like Heavy D. And he was the one getting beaten up by the capoeira guy. And the other one was a really heavy-set black girl. Sassy, of course, as you know, she was right out of Central Casting. They were like, just go find us a sassy girl from a pancake box. And she just wandered in. Hello. Because it was just a stereotype on fucking wheels. So sure enough, while the capoeira guy is beating up, she goes, oh no, you ain't gonna do that to my partner or whatever. And she grabs a crowbar and she supposedly hits the capoeira guy in the head, and then they get away with the truck. And these guys are like, this is awesome. It's the greatest moment. And I'm watching it. And these people like legitimately were saying how cool it was. And when I'm watching it, I'm like, how dumb are you? How dumb is your family? How dumb is everybody you've ever met? And how much dumber am I now for having watched this clip on your recommendation? Because there's a particular clip where he's doing the capoeira moves and he kicks like the fucking repo guy, whatever the fuck, and the guy falls down. And then in the next shot, the guy's doing his capoeira moves and the pawn shop guy is still standing up between two cars. And then in the very next shot, he's down on the ground again. And then you're just, it's folks, it's staged. All of it is staged. Pawn Stars, staged. Let's open a storage unit and find a skull, staged. Whatever the fuck that show is. All of those shows are fucking phony. They plant stuff, they make them go look, whatever, who cares? You don't care. And I don't care, again, because they employ a lot of people, and good for them. They're all making money. And if I had the chance, because I go to realitystaff.com or realityjobs.com every day, and I look to see if there's any way I could get in on this lucrative gold mine of having hillbillies search a swamp for a treasure chest. I mean, I just want in because they're paying. If you're paying, I'm in. And I know it's soul-crushing work, but I don't fucking care. I'm doing soul-crushing work now for much less money. I was online, and I go to Gawker.com. And look, I go to Gawker because, first of all, I love their tagline, today's gossip is tomorrow's news. I love that because it's right. I think that's where we're at now, because news has become gossip and vice versa. But Gawker also pings a little, like they care about a lot of things that I don't fucking care about. So one of them would be reality television. In particular, they were talking about a show called, I don't know what it's called, but it's someone named Big Ange. Is that her name? She's a mob wife. And I don't know if she got her own spinoff from Mafia Wives, and now she's got her own Big Ange show. But the reason I bring it up is because when I was doing my very, very good Smash Mouth impression, it reminded me of Big Ange's voice. Because I watched the clip on Gawker. It was a minute and a half. And Big Ange talks like this. And she's got like 44 double D breasts, but they're up around her neck. They're like they were completely phony. Her face is just a collagen nightmare. Her face, it looks like she tripped at the gas station and fell on the air pump, and it filled her face up and she couldn't pull away. And then in this clip, it's just a minute and a half long, but in the minute and a half, I actually, because she's a mafia wife, and in my head I'm like, holy fuck, Big Ange, how did you get away from the bullet fusillade that killed everybody in your mafia family? How do you let her get away? Kill her. In this fucking clip, she's like, I'm auditioning boys for my club. I want them to come in and take their shirts off and flex for me. And that's her voice. I'm not even joking. She sounds like Harvey Fierstein with fake tits. And she's just there talking. And they're talking about how campy it is and fun. And then they put it out there. They're like, oh, is it campy or fun? We can't decide on Big Ange. No, it's not fun at all. It's horrible. And just by you putting any sort of attention on it, you've perpetuated the myth that she should be on television. She shouldn't be, ever. That's not interesting or funny. It's all staged. Again, I know a guy who worked on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. That's all fake. Like they plan out what they're going to do, folks, and they go, hey, let's go here and let's go there and let's do this, and they, Gene Simmons' costume did not go missing at the hotel, and then they found a Mexican busboy wearing it in the basement. That did not happen. Certainly it happened in the context of the show, but it didn't happen in real fucking life. Do you think the cameras would just happen upon a Mexican busboy dancing downstairs in the fucking Gene Simmons costume? Actually, hold on, check it. That may have been a Puerto Rican busboy, and he may have thought that Kiss was still popular. Because, again, as we know, the news does not leak over to Puerto Rico very often. But this Big Ange clip, it's just like, dude, I can't. Look, reality TV's horrible. Everything is horrible. But then I see something like that, and I'm like, who the fuck is even watching that for fun? How many books in this world go unread? How many classics are you missing that you're not? How many letters have you not written? How many times have you not? Go call your mom. Call your mom, for fuck's sake. Call a friend, anybody, to talk you down off the Big Ange mountain, just to make sure that you're not wasting your fucking time watching some chick who used to suck off a mobster. That's her entire claim to fucking fame. She used to have John Gotti's dick in her mouth. Her big, fat, fucking Harvey Fierstein throat, goddamn overinflated collagen lip mouth used to suck off mobsters. And that's why she's on television. And people tune in to watch it. She's funny. She's entertaining. It's interesting. No, it's none of those goddamn things. None of them. And even worse than that is the people on the show who are like orbiting her. She's got her friends who aren't Big Ange. Anybody who's not Big Ange on that show is also a million times worse. She has friends, like real friends, and she includes them in the show. They're not friends. You're not. Nobody's friends with Big Ange. You can't be friends with Big Ange. It's impossible. She hates herself. She respects nothing at all. It's like, because I see these mob movies and I see guys getting whacked all the time. I mean, guys, fucking Billy Bats get stomped to death. Why are people not stomping Big Ange to death? Get Joe Pesci and a fucking Shine Box and fucking Jimmy Conway and Leota and get them over there and just stomp the fuck out of Big Ange. Although, honestly, avoid the face because you're never going to be able to stomp that face into oblivion. Crush from the neck down, stomp the shit out of her. But if you I picture someone trying to stomp on Big Ange's face and then it being so like trampoline-like from all of the inflatables in her goddamn head that your foot would just shoot off and kick yourself in the face and knock you out and she escapes. Don't let Big Ange escape. Go get your Shine Box and fucking I'm putting a hit on her. That's it. I'm not even mob. I'm not even Italian. I'm not connected. But you know what? I saw every episode of The Sopranos, so maybe that gives me the credibility to call out a hit on Big Ange. So just, you know what, guys, I'm calling all Tony's crew. Stop looking for the Russian who disappeared into the woods and turn all of your attention on fucking Big Ange. Because, again, she no reason for her to be on television. No reason at all. It's like wasn't there a show called Gotti Boys or the Gotti Family? And again, same thing. The woman sucked off John Gotti, and so she got a show. God damn it. What's wrong with this world? Stop it. Stop. Meanwhile, I can tell you 1,000, and I'm not even exaggerating, 1,000 comedians who deserve their own shows. 1,000 comedians who could go on and be funny, and yet Big Ange is on television. And look, I'm not whatever the fuck. If people watch her, who cares? Everybody can make their own choice. You can't tell people they can't like what they like. All right, that you can't monkey around and stand up and go, hey, no, if you like this, you're wrong. Bullshit. If you like it, that's great. I'm just telling you, it's fucking awful. It's awful. It's okay to criticize. You can't censor. All right, I would never dream of taking Big Ange off the air because she was offensive. I would take Big Ange off the air because it's fucking horrible. Which brings me to Daniel Tosh. Now, folks, and here's the bad part about this. Okay, I did this show already. The Daniel Tosh show, but it was under the guise of doing it about Tracy Morgan. I've done this fucking show, and in my head, I'm like, should I even talk about this? Well, I think I have to, because again, this gets to what I do, and it gets to what I think I do. Look, and I'm not Daniel Tosh. I'm not nearly as famous. I don't play the Laugh Factory. I'm not important or interesting. Fine, I get all that. But at the same time, I'm sort of in the same business in that I did an entire show about rape vans once. All right, just because nobody heard it, I guess I shouldn't be that. I guess maybe I should feel lucky about it. Who fucking knows? I was up yesterday because I had to fuck around with a bunch of T-shirt nonsense that I won't bore you with because you guys, boy, if you think I've done the Daniel Tosh Tracy Morgan show before, how many times have I done the fucking T-shirt show? So I was up, and on Facebook I saw somebody post the Daniel Tosh story, the link to the blog, and so I went and read it. And I'm trying to put this in a nice way. Fuck that woman. How's that? Is that nice enough? Look, whether you think Daniel Tosh is funny is irrelevant, all right? Because I will tell you this. The market has spoken, and apparently Daniel Tosh is funny, at least according to people voting with their dollars and their eyeballs. And conversely, I will say this. Daniel Tosh is funny. I think I've seen him crush rooms. All right, let's talk about the blog thing really quick. The woman talks about how she was, hey, let's go to a comedy club. But, we heard Dane Cook was going to be there. But sometimes good old Dane can be funny. So already she's being a fucking prissy little jackass. All right, like we wanted to go, but Dane Cook was going to be there. So, okay. So, and look, again, you can have that opinion. You don't have to like Dane Cook. That's fine. But when you're prefacing your remarks about how you're about to take on a comedian and you're prefacing it by saying, well, we thought maybe we'd see good old Dane Cook, but he's sometimes funny. Oh, you're talking about multimillionaire Dane Cook who sells out stadiums all across the United States? Yeah, I guess he can sort of be funny sometimes. But by an unidentified blogger, continue. So, and again, I'm not invalidating anybody's opinion. Go ahead and have that opinion. But you could tell just from the opening that she was going to be shitty. Because then she writes, after Dane Cook left, another guy came on stage. And I didn't recognize him, but I thought he was just some yahoo who got to go on after Dane. I thought he was an amateur because he just seemed like he wasn't prepared up there. So immediately already she's thrown in that she doesn't like Daniel Tosh, doesn't think he's funny. And also, she thinks he's an amateur, and she's also too good to know who he is. She couldn't deign. I don't know who this person is. You mean this famous guy who's already had 2 hour-long specials on Comedy Central and has the highest-rated show right now on Comedy Central, even more highly rated than The Daily Show and Colbert? Really, that guy? You don't know who the fuck he is? Good for you. She had to make sure that everybody knew. I didn't know who this guy. I thought he was some amateur. Oh, okay, fine. And then she talks about how he's talking about rape and he's doing rape jokes. And she decided that she was very uncomfortable and felt threatened by that. So here's what she did. Of course, as we all know, what most of us would do if you were in a room and someone was talking and saying things that you didn't agree with, but they were paid to be there and they were on stage and you had paid to get in. Well, then you immediately get up and you walk to the back of the room and you say, hey, can I get my money back? This isn't exactly what I thought I was paying for. And they say, oh, yes, of course, absolutely. And they give you your money back and then you leave. Except for the fact that the internet has been invented. So everyone feels like like I said, everybody gets a trophy. Okay, everyone gets a medal. Everyone gets to go ahead and voice their opinion and jump up and say what they think. So she, in the middle of a crowded comedy room where he was killing, all right, and getting laughs, and doing rape jokes, and I'm not going to fucking defend rape jokes. I'm going to defend jokes. All right, jokes are fucking jokes. Rape jokes. He wasn't up there raping somebody. I will say this: if Daniel Tosh is on stage raping somebody, say something immediately. I don't even call that a heckle. At that point, I think you're just doing a good service for the community. If Daniel Tosh is raping somebody on stage, I think it's up to you to intervene. I would. As a human being, I would think that if he was raping someone physically on stage, then by all means get involved. However, he was talking about rape jokes. He was doing rape jokes and making fun of them. And she said that she felt threatened by this. And he said the line that all rape jokes are funny, which if you recognize the fact that he's on stage doing comedy is hyperbole. He's doing comedy. They're jokes. Rape jokes. You yourself are using the phrase rape jokes over and over. Jokes is the second half of that. Realize that he was kidding. Not to mention, you're in a building called the Laugh Factory. There are little orange-faced Oompa Loompas at conveyor belts churning out jokes all over the goddamn place. It's a wonderland of humor. The guy before him, remember him, good old Dane? He was also doing jokes. But she sat there and she heard him doing the rape jokes, and she decided at that point, you know what she said? She felt threatened, and she needed to leap to her feet and untuck her cape and be the superhero who's going to save this room full of people who is enjoying Daniel Tosh's act from his horrible jokes. And she yelled out, "No, rape jokes are never funny." And then, of course, everyone in the room saw the error of their ways, stood up, hummed the national anthem, and followed her into the street. Right? Is that what happened? No, that's not what happened. You know why? Because those people thought he was funny and they paid to get into a fucking comedy club, not to see you. So she yelled out that rape jokes were never funny because, as you know, when you're in a room full of people who've paid to see a professional comedian, it's always important that you jump up and make the show about yourself. God damn it, hecklers, please, by all means. You've been doing the right thing for years. As a professional comedian, let me tell you, there's nothing we enjoy more than when you try, not even, look, there's the only thing worse than like a drunk heckle for me, because drunk heckles are horrible. That's like when some guy's just like, I want to fuck your shoe. And you're just like, oh my God, you can have fun with that for about an hour. You don't want to because you hate that fucking guy and you just want to vomit rage all over him. But instead, you have to deal with it, which is fine. The only thing more terrifying than a drunken heckle is an earnest heckle. This woman who is just filled to the brim with earnestness, who leaps to her feet, and she's going to correct everyone and change their minds. And she says, you know what? No, rape jokes are never funny. And look, I'm a comedian. I've been a comedian for 20 years. All right. Granted, I don't do stand-up anymore because nobody likes me. But even reading this article, I was furious. I'm like, when I heard that she did it and she made it about herself and she heckled, look, the second you heckle, you're dead. Anything that comes after your heckle, fair game. Because you invited this upon yourself. You could have quietly gotten up and walked out. You could have gone and asked for your money back. You didn't have to go to a place called the Laugh Factory anyway. You know what? There's going to be many comedians there who you may not agree with. You may not think they're funny. And in which case, you will go ahead and get your drinks and you will sip the drinks and wait for the next guy who might be funny. That's the chance you take when you go to a comedy club. But those people are being paid to entertain you. That's the whole point. So she jumps up, she yells that, and Daniel Tosh looks at her because look, as a comedian, I've had a guy bring a shotgun into a club that I had to make fun of, okay? You have to do it because what's he supposed to do? Put the mic in the stand and go, you're right. I'm going to volunteer at a rape crisis center this instant and then fly off into the distance? No, you've got to defend yourself because that's his fucking show, that's his turf, and he can't let you win. He can't let you win. So he looked at her and he said, how funny would it be if 5 guys raped her right now? Like right now, like if she was just sitting there and 5 guys raped her. And I have to be honest with you, when I read it, first of all, I laughed. And second of all, in my head, I went, that is exactly what I would have said. I'm not even kidding. That's exact because it's irony. That's the joke. It's irony. He wasn't because then she says that she immediately felt physically threatened and she looked around and she saw the faces of the men and she had to grab her friend and they fled. They had to flee into the night because they thought somehow that he was advocating their gang rape. He wasn't. He was joking. It's a joke. He was responding to you in kind. You had rudely interrupted his show, so he's going to do whatever he can to get control of his show again. And it was funny. I don't give a fuck. And look, I understand. I follow a lot of very funny women on Twitter, and I've seen a lot of very funny opinions and from comedians, and they don't agree, and that's fine. You can go ahead and not agree, and that's fine. I don't care. What you can't do is yell. As a comedian, the comedian part of you realizes that he had to do something and deal with the heckler. And the worst is when civilians try to get involved. And they're like, well, if you're a professional comedian, you should be able to handle it better than that. No, he handled it with gut punch funny. That's what he fucking handled it with. You handle it with funny. There's no finesse and no tact when the woman just drops that. That's like, all right, there's a famous story about Larry Reeb. He's a comedian in Chicago. And this is I think I've told this on here. I may have. Did I tell this story? All right, he was doing a joke about a plane crash. He was talking about a plane crash. Did I do that? Did I tell that on here?
Yeah, but tell it again. It's great.
You're sure I told it?
Tell it again.
All right, I'm sorry, folks. I apologize for repeating myself. Larry Reeb's a comedian in Chicago, and there's a famous story about him being on stage, and he's talking about a plane crash, and a woman starts crying in the audience. And everybody's like getting outraged at this table, and he's like, "What?" He's just doing his act. And some guy yells, and he goes, "Hey, her sister or whatever the fuck died in a plane, or no, her mom or sister died in a plane crash." And Larry Reeb goes, "Good, let's dig her up and fuck her." Because if you try to wet blanket the fucking show, you're ruining that guy's attempt at doing his job. I'm sorry that your sister died in a plane crash. Are we to never discuss air travel in your presence again? And people online, I love the fact that they speak for this anonymous woman. They're all like, well, obviously she was a victim of sexual abuse, and that's why she felt threatened, and she got it. You know what then? As a victim of sexual abuse, aren't you taking your life back? So aren't you going out and experiencing life and doing the things that you're doing? And if that upset you, hey, look, I'm sorry. But you have to recognize that that's going to happen. Does she never go to movies? Does she never watch late night television when every joke they make is about a guy getting prison raped and they all laugh their asses off? Prison rape is a punchline in this goddamn country. Every fucking sitcom, Don't Drop the Soap, every fucking Leno, all of them talk about when a guy's going to go to jail. The first thing they all say, Jerry Sandusky, the first thing everybody said on Twitter, oh my God, it's great. He's finally going to get fucked just like he fucked those kids. Like everybody's happy about that. The thing that drove me crazy more than anything, I mean, look, heckling was rude and he came back with what he came back with. Again, gut punch funny, got the laugh, and made her uncomfortable and made her leave. But then, of course, her thing after the fact that she's like, she went to go get her money back, and they wouldn't give her money back. They gave her passes for another, which, by the way, to me, that's the funniest thing of this entire story. The Laugh Factory is just the worst fucking place because even this woman is fleeing in terror because she thinks, now look, whether it's right or wrong, she now thinks there's an entire room of men who are going to gang rape her. She goes to get her money back, and they're like, no, sorry, can't help you out there, but we've got passes for another show. We can't guarantee you won't get gang raped at that show, but you never know. You never know. It's just odds are pretty good you won't be gang raped because you know why? This is the Laugh Factory. The Rape Factory is up the street. That made me laugh the hardest when she's like, yeah, they didn't give me my money back. She asked for her money back and they go, no, we'll give you passes to another show. But then she said that the manager apologized profusely and said, here's passes, although I'd understand if you never wanted to come back. Dude, if you're Daniel Tosh and the manager of the fucking club threw you under the bus like that, do you ever go back and play there? I would say, fuck you, Laugh Factory. There's plenty of places. The Improv, Daniel's on TV. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can go wherever he wants to play. I would have a sit down with Jamie Masada. I don't know if they've said anything. I haven't seen anything just yet. But I would have a sit down with Jamie Masada if that manager and find out exactly why she's selling out the fucking acts. Because, and it's funny, the thing that happened with Michael Richards, remember when he freaked out and started shouting stuff? That was also at the Laugh Factory. But they got to change the name of that place. Holy shit. I don't know if the Rape and Nigger Factory is going to sell, quite frankly, but good for you. I do not want to be the guy telemarketing offices trying to get office parties to come to that show. Hey, you've won a party of 12 to come to the Rape and Nigger Factory. What? God damn it. But the fact, the hyperbole where she insinuated that she thought that Daniel Tosh's joke was a call to rape, it was so, I mean, it's frustrating. It's just frustrating. You're in a comedy club. You know he was trying to be funny. If you don't, look, I do not dispute that you don't think it was funny, but that doesn't give you the right to tell an entire room of people what's funny and what's not funny. Get up and leave. Go somewhere else. Because I want to know, no offense to her, like whatever the fuck happened in her past, what happened in her future, if she was just taking a stand, does she do it everywhere? Does she hear a rap song and scream at the radio and turn it off? Does she go to a movie and yell at the screen and stomp out? Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. There's no reason for you. That's the internet. Again, everybody thinks they need to loudly announce their exit and then slam the door. Nobody gives a fuck. Just leave. Leave. Nobody gives a shit if you're offended. Until you get on the internet and you find a bunch of like-minded people to go ahead and back you up. And again, I wouldn't have cared if she would have gone home and blogged about that because she was offended. That's fine. Again, because I personally, I've talked about this before. I talked about it on the Tracy Morgan show. I don't think anything is offensive. You can't offend me with words. I'll say, if you say something that's pretty raw, I'll just be like, whoa, that is raw. But I'm certainly not going to tell you can't say it. Because I don't think you choose to be offended. You choose to be offended by words. Okay? You just do. And whether it's a comedian or a fucking public speaker or a politician, anybody who gets up in arms and outraged over something that some guy said is letting themselves be controlled by that person and their thought process. You can't let people tell you how to behave. You can't let people tell you how to act. And if you're offended and up in arms over what somebody said, they are controlling you and they're making you act a certain way. And you're giving them the power. Just fucking turn your back and walk away. And they'll dissipate. They'll disappear. Look at Dice Clay. Yes, he still works, but he was huge. He was selling out stadiums. Then everybody finally went, you know what? This isn't for us. And now he's playing the fucking Riv. And he's still making a living and he's doing his thing. And for what it's worth, by the way, I think he was funny. Back then, I mean, now it's ridiculous to watch when he's on stage in a pair of capri pants yelling at people. But fuck. At the time, when I was fucking 16 or 18 or whatever the fuck, I thought it was hysterical. I could not stop laughing at it. And also, I got the absurdity of it where I thought it was just, dude, again, Ford Fairlane, watch it. It doesn't really hold up because I watched it again, but still there's parts in it that are just fucking, he's funny. Watch a movie called Making the Grade. Dice Clay is hilarious in that movie. He's just an asshole. And he's because he plays a mobster guy who like loaned out money to Judd Nelson who then, whatever the fuck, who cares? And even funnier than them is the guy who plays the rich guy. You don't care. Nobody cares. The bottom line is don't heckle in a club. The bottom line to me is nothing's offensive. If you allow yourself to be offended, you've given all of the power to the person doing the offending, and then that's on you. You know, you say that Daniel Tosh is trivializing rape by joking about it on stage. Well, I would contend that you trivialize rape just as much by insinuating that Daniel Tosh was calling for your rape by making a joke in a building called the Laugh Factory. Guy's minding his own business, living his life, doing what he does every single day, and you jump up with your unwanted advances and you force yourself on him. You know what you did? You raped his act. That's what you did. You fucking raped his act. And look, we can both agree that's never funny, right? Jesus Christ. You're a lady, Lily, right? I'm right here. Everything I say is right. Just nod and agree, correct? No. What? How dare you? You're getting paid to agree with me, God damn it. What's wrong? What am I wrong about?
I don't think you're wrong about anything. I think everybody in this country has the right to their opinion.
Should we toxic twins this? We got to toxic. Get on the mic. No, we do.
No.
I need you. You got to be heard. This is important.
You can hear me. I can see my thing is loud.
That's the name of the show. I can see my thing is loud. How's that not the name of the show? That just barely edges out the Rape and Nigger Factory. I think I can see my thing is loud. Just edges that out as the name of the show.
My opinion on this has nothing to do with the rape joke or not.
All right.
My opinion on this has to do with the fact that I don't think Daniel Tosh is funny. I don't like his setup. I don't like his delivery. I don't like his snarky attitude of everything in the world is not as good as he is. I don't like Tosh.0. I will occasionally watch it because my clown likes it, and I will giggle every now and then I will turn the TV to the channel that I enjoy next.
Right.
I tell rape jokes. I don't think it's about a rape joke. I think it's about somebody who had a bad attitude, went in, didn't enjoy a show, chose to get offended and make a scene.
That's how I feel. I just think the fact that she would sit up and say that thing about in the beginning where she's like, well, I thought he was some amateur. I didn't know who, you're...
Well, she may not have known who he was. I have friends who are like, I don't know who he is. I don't have cable.
Right, but it's a dismissive way of setting it up in the beginning that she's like, she already disempowered him in the beginning of the thing.
Well, it's her friend's.
It's her friend's blog or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Who cares? And
Well, did you see what
and you're not wrong.
said?
What? Who said?
The manager of the Laugh Factory came out and said.
Well, she told her she wouldn't blame her if she never came back again.
No. They issued a statement, and he said she has it wrong. That's not what he said. He said something along the lines of maybe she's been raped by 5 guys.
Wait, hold on a second. Jamie, that's worse. Yeah. That's even a million times. If he said that, then that's horrible.
And then he goes, but I'm not really sure what he said. And it's like,
then shut the fuck up. Well, because he's the same guy who would insert himself in the Michael Jackson thing. He was the same guy who inserts himself into Thanksgiving every year. That's what Jamie Masada does. All right, he's a publicity guy above all. So he's riding the wave. He's just going in because he's like, well, wow, Laugh Factory and rape. I better get in there and make sure that it's not completely associated with, but also make sure that the club is friendly. And
my name's out there.
Exactly, because that's what he does. Honestly, though. Good for him for defending a comic, because if his manager who worked in the building actually told that woman, don't ever come back, I know you never want to come back, that's fucked. You can't speak to what's being done on stage there.
I disagree. That would be no different than the restaurant manager going, I understand you weren't happy with the food. If you don't want to come back, don't come back. If you don't like it here, don't come here.
But I think,
we don't want you.
But the insinuation I took from it was she was acting like this female manager was siding with her over the controversy.
Well, that's because she wrote the article.
Yes.
Her voice and her experience and her, past rape or not past rape, or her friend who was raped, or her outrage in general.
And that's the thing is, I don't think anybody who's speaking on this anonymously from the internet is advancing the cause, because everybody speculates she may have been raped, and then now people are saying that no man should make his views known, and if women are uncomfortable, you should go. Because I saw a guy even on Twitter yesterday, he goes, keep defending rape jokes. That's a good side to be on. And it's like, no, dude, you don't understand. Look, I'm not trying to make this free speech. I'm not trying to make it a censorship. I'm not trying to wrap myself in a flag. What I'm saying is, people are going to talk and do whatever they want in this country. Just let them do it, and then you do what you want to do. Everybody do what you want to do. That's it. I guess that's the bottom line. Let's all be groovy together. Can we just do that? Can we just be groovy together? I don't understand why you would go to a public place and then hear something and then you would get offended and then stomp out and make a big show of it. And now the next day, I know she's just, and it's everybody's saying it's split across gender lines. It's split, I think, what it's split across? I think it's split across comedians and civilians, because I've seen, I saw, the only one I saw was Stanhope yesterday for sure. I saw him defend Daniel. And it's so funny, in my head I was like, I should do this I was going to put it on Twitter or Facebook, and social media really has changed this, because now I feel I'm behind this story. Like, I wanted to get out in front of it, because again, I saw it right away when it was posted yesterday, and in my mind I was like, well, fuck, I should attack it. I go, you know what, that's definitely something I'm going to talk about on the show tomorrow. Well, here we are a fucking 24-hour news cycle later, and you're not even going to get this show until tomorrow. So by the time this comes out tomorrow, fucking Tosh could have been shot or raped, or somebody could have gone after him, or something bad could have happened. Who knows? So I could be completely behind this story. But I felt like I wanted to talk about it. I'm serious.
Or you could be completely getting it from behind in this.
Wow.
It's a rape joke.
That's where you went with that? No, that joke is never funny.
Rape jokes are hilarious, and I'm not saying it hipster ironically.
Wouldn't it be funny if 5 guys raped you right now?
Can't rape the willing. Look, another rape joke.
Oh my Lord. I don't know, where do we go from here now? You know what? Let's talk about that girl from high school. Anyway, awful. You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up later, Brandy Baker sets money on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, Throat Punch Media, in conjunction with Von Stuck Productions and Mex Dog Mafia, is proud to present the main event of the evening. 5 rounds of fighting for the inaugural 40 YOBFC Women's Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the beige corner. From Australia, this fighter makes her own rope, travels exclusively by wheelbarrow, and bathes in cough syrup, Sarah the Big Fig Newton! And her opponent, fighting out of the plaid corner. From Pennsylvania, USA, this fighter once ate a math book, was kicked out of her last dojo for being itchy, and drinks lotion, Liana Battlestar Fox Dixon! And when the action is underway, your referee
referee will be Mauve Weber. And now, to the thousands in attendance and the millions plugged into iPod vaginas around the world, let's prepare to skirmish!
No, I'm going to wait. Lily's pointing at me, and I'm like, no, I'm stubbornly refusing to talk. You're not the boss of me after that dust-up we just had. Actually, she is the boss of me. And you do not want to know what she makes me do when I work overtime. She's got me working day and night, folks.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. I don't mess around. Folks, what did I do this week? You're saying to yourselves, well, I worked out. I told you that. Los Panquecos, or whatever the fuck you said. I did some working out because I got physical. Well, I wanted to get physical. Folks, do you want to get into physical? Let me hear your bodies talk. All right. What are you pointing at? Numbers? Wow, look at that number. Only 3 hours to go in this show. How the fuck did I do that? I think because I did it over 2 separate days, I lost track of how long it was or whatever the fuck. Because there's no way you could just sit down. You'd have to be a maniac to sit and just talk by yourself for that long, right? Jesus Christ. I don't know. All right. So, hi. You're shrugging? Shrugging. 20 hours of work for Lily. Shrug. All right, folks, I won't lie to you. It's now Thursday morning. I'm recording this Thursday morning. Hopefully she'll get it up in time. I have no idea. And that's not the first time that phrase has been uttered by Lily.
I feel as though you just raped me verbally.
Okay, that segment of the show is over. I'm going to start. Where's your manager? You know what? I think I'm going to get my money back. Nope, just a pass to come back next Wednesday? All right, fine. You understand if I didn't want to come back next Wednesday? Well, believe me, if you listen to the show, you'll understand why nobody wants me to come back next Wednesday. Sure they do. Everybody's thrilled. So, what did I do this week, folks? Besides working out, besides being Los Panquecos. I don't know. I should have found the pronunciation of that. It would have been much better. Because whatever, people laughed. All right, so here's what I did, folks. Monday night. I always tell you folks about a show called the Monday Night Tease at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. I'll get to that a little later, but I also am going to get to it now because that's what I did this week. Monday, I went to the Erotic Titty Show. And please don't. You know how much I hate saying that, right? You know I hate that name. It makes sense. It's great.
You don't like it?
I hate the word titty. I always have. I don't know what it is. I don't like the word titty. I don't like the word udders. I don't like, you know what I mean? Tits works. Tits is great. Tits is short, and tits makes me think of great tits. Boobs, that just sounds like you're on TV trying to get away with something. And titty just sounds like what a child would say when he wants breakfast. I mean, it's just awful.
Well, what would you have called it?
Well, I mean, I'd have to think about it, of course. You know what I mean?
You haven't?
No, I have not. Shocking, right? Well, it could have been, you could have called it Love Sexy, for Christ's sake, because that's an underrated album that nobody hears of. It's not a pun, but look, you're not wrong. Yours was great. It's just, I don't like the word titty, but Erotic Titty, it worked perfectly. But for me, I just don't like that word, titty. I don't.
Things we learned about Mike.
Yes, I don't, it's like delicious. I hate that word. I can't stand it. Or scrumptious. Ugh. My tongue wants to leap out of my mouth in protest if I even think about saying that word. Oh, I hate it. I just don't. Titty sounds. It just sounds immature and weird.
Scrumptious titty would have been horrible.
Oh my God, that's a show I never go to in a million years. I don't care who's in it. I don't even care. It could be the hottest girls and like Tom Cruise. Like all of them could be there. Van Halen's playing it. I don't go to Scrumptious Titty. I don't. Ugh, Christ, I can't even say it. I can't even think about it. I'm out. All right. So, Erotic Titty, which was the unfortunately named, but aptly named, Erotic Titty show, which was a Prince-based burlesque show. Now, I'm going to say some things here, and our friend Lily may get angry with me, but that's par for the course. I don't go to a lot of burlesque shows. Because I don't get it a lot of the time. Burlesque is about the art of the tease and hey, look at my shoulder. Haha, that's hot. And I'm like, no, I didn't come here to see your shoulders, although they are very nice shoulders. Certainly, I would be more than happy to drop an omelet on those shoulders, but There are other parts of you that I'm certainly much more interested in seeing, and I'd like you to get them very quickly. I don't need you to take a 4.5-minute song to peel off a glove. I'm not interested in the tease. I'm interested in, hey, let's rip this shit off and get to work. That's what I'm interested in. But at the same time, I respect the art of burlesque when I see it. All right, the Vow Vow sisters, because Lily, when I first met her, she was telling me about burlesque and the tease and all that kind of stuff, and she took me to one show that was grim. Like I did not enjoy it. It wasn't her show; it was a different show in town. She's like, "Hey, I'm going. Do you want to go?" And we went. It was Lily and her ex-husband and me and Karen. And here's the thing about burlesque, folks. All right, and this is my point of view from a guy with a cock. There is little worse than bad burlesque. There is quite frankly, other than bad stand-up comedy, I can't think of much worse than being in a room during bad burlesque, because a band can start soloing and go all over the place and hide behind their music, whatever. A bad movie, you're just like, well, fuck, I paid for this movie and you'll get through it. But it's very rarely is it a waste of your time. You can always kind of glean something from it. And movies are longer. I will tell you that a bad movie can be, terrible if it's super long. But a bad burlesque act, they're going, because they'll start a song and they come out to do their thing, and once you get the vibe that they're bad, and you know that they're bad, and I'm not even talking about unattractive or attractive, that has nothing to do with it. I'm talking about a bad act, someone who's just standing in one place and rocking back and forth, or someone whose idea of dancing is walking around in a circle and then winking at the crowd and then going, hey, look at my shoulder. I don't get it, and there's nothing worse, man. If you don't know what you're doing, there's very little worse than bad burlesque. Like I said, bad comedy is also bad because they have nothing to hide behind but their words, and you hate his words, and now he's going to try to find more words. That's the only way he can dig out of it, is by using more of his words. You're like, dude, I hate you already. You're making it worse. Get off. But a burlesque woman comes out and she has at least music to kind of, you can, if it's good songs, you can close your eyes and go, well, I enjoy this music at high volume. At least I can enjoy that. But the worst is then some burlesque people, they'll unearth some tune from the 1920s that nobody's fucking heard since the Chinese were building a railroad. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Why are you dropping this on me? The last time they played this song was before a gunfight at high noon. You just hear this creaky, like anytime, look, if you see a burlesque dancer show up with a Victrola, you know you are in trouble. Because they're going to play some jazzy bullshit song from the war and then pretend that it was a smoky, hot, sexy number. Oh, no. Put your mangy boa away and stop. And by the way, I've learned the difference between good boas and bad boas by hanging out with Lily. How sad is that? I know I can see a boa and I know if it's a good or bad boa. If it starts to shed immediately, I'm like, get that mangy boa out of here. Pay for a good boa. Yeah, it's terrible. So there is little worse than bad burlesque, because you have to sit there, and again, you know that the song is going to be 4 minutes of this girl playing peekaboo with parts of her that you don't even want to see because you're so uninterested in what she's doing. She's spinning, she's twirling like a top, and she's falling down, and she can barely stand up on her heels, and she grabs a chair, and you're just like, oh my God, this is awful. You've put no thought into this. So that's terrible, right? So I went to a show with her and I hated it, but then I saw one of her shows and I was like, well, actually, this is good. I can pick and choose and pull people out and say, well, this is a good show. Well, this is bad. Well, this is good. And because of that, I don't go to a lot of Lily's shows because I recognize the names that I know the girls and I'll trust them because I know there are girls on there that I trust to do good things. But then if there's names that I don't recognize, I know, well, Jesus, there's at least 3 chances of me being really uncomfortable and sitting there and watching something I don't want to see. And plus, I may have met these people before, and I've seen their shoulders. I don't need to see their shoulders under purple gelled light. Jesus Christ. Enough with the shoulders, ladies. We get it. Rolling them, sexy, sure. Show me your back. Fuck your back. I have paid good money to come in and see your front. And I'm a backdoor guy. Look, I'm an ass guy from the jump. It's like ass, eyes, tits. Boom, boom, boom. There's your list. But honestly, if a girl comes in and she's wearing she'll be wearing a little costume and she's not showing enough ass and then she's got her mangy boa wrapped around it, it just changes the game, folks. So I don't go to a lot of burlesque shows. But this show had Prince. So I knew at the very least, even if I were to hate all of the burlesque involved, I was going to get Prince at high volume. And that's enough for me. I'll spend 2 hours in a room if you guarantee me that you'll play Prince music at high volume. I'm fine. I'm in. That's the Minneapolis Genius, for fuck's sake. I will be there. So Lily was very excited about the show, and then it sold out. It was looking good, and I was bringing friends. I was bringing my one friend of mine, and then she was bringing a friend with her. So I had a party of 3 coming, and Lily was very nice to accommodate us. So about 4 days before the show, my friend's friend had to bail. So now it was just me and my friend. And she apologized profusely. I called Lily. I apologized profusely because, but I hoped this would give Lily a chance to at least get more seats to sell because there were so many people calling her and beating on her door trying to get tickets for this. Here's the thing that happened. This is great. Lily put out of the seats, and then she kept twittering and telling people, selling out, getting close to selling out. And then only 18 tickets left, only 9 tickets left, and then standing room only. And then she's like, we are officially sold out. And then everyone in the world decided to call Lily and go, hey, can I buy some tickets for the show? And she said, hey, we're sold out. And she goes, yeah, but you're not really sold out. That's the thing I love in this, because people are so used to bullshit. People are so used to clubs lying about being sold out that they think that they can just call up and go, yeah, well, I know you're not really sold out. No, I am legitimately sold out. I've been doing this fucking show for 5 years in this room, for fucking 10 years in this city. People know me and people know my name. By the way, not me. I'm Lily at this point. I'm talking as Lily. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows my fucking name. And nobody wants to buy any fucking tickets to see me in Los Angeles. But Lily says that. I'm sure she said that on the phone. She said, look, I've been doing this show for fucking 5 years in this room every fucking week. Every week. Only week off was so they could film a movie in the goddamn club. That's it. But then these people all think that then they try to offer her extra money, like so they can get seats. Well, but if I give you a little cash for an extra seat? Oh, if I'm you, I take it. I just go, yes. And then when they get there, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no... That must have been evil Lily you were talking to. Because this show's been sold out. When did you call me and offer me the money? Monday? Well, Christ, I've been tweeting all weekend that it was sold out. There's no way you could have bought these tickets. And they just pocket the money, put it in your bra, right in front of them and bite it like Underdog. Crunch, slide, hide. There's your name of your show, Crunch, Slide, Hide. I informed Lily that person was not coming. So then Monday rapidly was approaching, and I was excited for the show, and Lily was excited for the show. Here's another reason I was excited for the show, folks. And I may have mentioned this last week. When Lily mentioned that she was doing the Prince show, I should tell you this right now. As I remember that whole speech I had about bad burlesque and women on their shoulders. As much as I feel like that, I never stop thinking of ideas for burlesque acts. Like for chicks and their names. If I hear like a weird couplet, I go, that's got to be a stripper name. That's a burlesque name, absolutely. Or I'll think of a song and I go, you know what, you should strip to this and this is what you should wear. I mean, I immediately turn into fucking Monroe from Too Close for Comfort. Like I just like swish like a ninny and I'm just like, oh, you know what, you got to wear this. I mean, it's like terrible. I jump right on it. So I constantly think of ideas for burlesque acts. So when she said she was doing a Prince show, I for some reason, I don't know why, but it was immediate. I think it was immediate that I thought of this idea. We were sitting here and she told me she's doing a Prince show called Erotic Titty. And I was like, you know what you should do? She said, what? Now, recognize folks, again, I'm a man. So you'll hear my version of what I thought she should do. I said, here's a great idea. There's a song. I said, you're doing the whole, is it just Prince or you're doing all of the Prince family? And she's like, no, everybody. It's fine. I said, perfect. So you're doing Morris Day in the Time? She's like, oh, yeah. I said, all right, listen. I said, you don't have to do this, but it's a good idea. Suggest it to some girls, whatever. I said, there's a Time song called If the Kid Can't Make You Come. And I said, it's sexy and it's funky, but also it's funny. Like it's a funny song because the interplay and the lyrics and things are funny, but it's also like a very sexy, because it's Morris over 6 minutes seducing a girl. And doing it in a funny way, but also in like a kind of weird, sexy way. And you'd have to hear it. It's called If the Kid Can't Make You Come, Buy It. And, it's called If the Kid Can't Make You Come, period. I think you should buy it. It's not called If the Kid Can't Make You Come, Buy It. Folks, I need, you know what? I need to be a fucking, who's the guy who did the verbal punctuation on Sesame Street? Who, is it Victor Borga? I think it's Victor Borga, but he told the story and he would do, this is the end of this. Like he would do a question mark noise and yeah, okay. Goddamn, how awful is it? I sound like Big Ange all of a sudden now. Awesome. That's a question mark. That's an exclamation point. Go look up Victor Borga. All right. When I was a kid, that would come on. I would be enraptured by it because he read from a book and every punctuation mark, he would go, that was a comma. Was that what a comma was? I don't know. You have to fucking look it up. All right. So anyway, How did I get onto that? How did Victor Borga make his way into my goddamn burlesque show?
Because he was in burlesque.
Oh, because if the kid, yeah, there you go. He's from vaudeville. Because if the kid can't make you come, there, period. Go buy it. All right, there you go. God damn it. That's exhausting. Borga, how did you fucking do that forever? No wonder he's dead. The guy had the worst dry mouth in history. All right, so anyway, I said there's this song called That the Kid Can't Make You Come, and here's what you need to do. You need to have two girls. One of them one of them is dressed up as like Morris Day. And she has to seduce the other girl. And they're on the couch or whatever the fuck they're doing, and they're constantly she's peeling off her clothes, but the Morris is never really taking anything off. But then in the middle of it, the girl's taking the Morris clothes off, and I said, and at the end, the girls are naked, and then they make out right there on the couch. How hot would that be? And Lily's just like, that's a great idea. And then she took it and said, there's no way like girls are going to make out in the middle of this bit. That's never going to happen. You did say that to me in the first time I'd said it to you. Yes.
And then what did I do?
You went and got a girl who was going to make out.
With me, yes.
Because then Lily's like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that bit. And I said, fantastic. And she goes, and you were going to be the Morris. Lily was going to be Morris, and then she was going to get a girl, and she found a girl who would make out with her, like on, in the fucking bit, and which would have been hot and destroyed the place. So I was excited to see the show because once I put a burlesque idea into the ether, I'm always fascinated to see how it's going to turn out on the other end. Because, I mean, obviously, I am a fountain of burlesque knowledge. So I am constantly putting those out. Yes, play with your puppet. So, he's not a burlesque knowledge puppet. He's nobody. I'm sorry. Lily's playing with she's got the Purple Rain puppet. Someone made it for her. Our friend, Mr. Snapper. All right, you don't care. This is a visual, it's an audio medium, and you're playing with a puppet. Good for you. But who used to do that bit? Was it George Carlin? Who did the bit about Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy? But there was a comedian who talked about Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy, and he goes, because they said Edgar Bergen was the world's greatest ventriloquist. Yes, he performed on radio. Oh my Christ! How tough is it to be a ventriloquist on radio? I forget who. It's somebody's joke. It's some '70s guy. I don't remember who. Might have been Robert Klein. Could have been. So folks, I put that burlesque idea out there, and then Lily said she's rehearsing it, and she's going to find somebody to strip with her and make out. So I'm like, all right, I'm in. Although I will not lie, I was a little disappointed that it was going to be Lily in the sketch because in my head, Lily is made out with every particular woman that I could ever think of. So really seeing that come to life on stage, it would have been like, I've seen half of this already many, many times. Although, honestly, at the times it's happened in my head, Lily was never wearing a gold lame jacket and a mustache. Never. So there was that element to it. And she did not have a guy named Jerome holding up a mirror while she made out with these chicks. That did not happen. But I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. It's going to be hot to see her making out with somebody in real life and moving, in 3D. So she's doing that and she's rehearsing it. And then she tells me last week or whatever, the girl who was supposed to be in it broke her hand, I think it was, which quite frankly, I think fending off the amorous Lily at rehearsal. I think the two of them were rolling around on a couch, and this girl kept giving the stiff arm to Lily, like, no. And then finally her hand snapped because Lily was coming forward with the force of 1,000 suns. Because Lily loves ladies. Triple L. She's Triple L Cool J. Lily loves ladies. Cool. Jamiroquai? Why is he involved? I don't know. All right. That's like earlier, Salt and Soda. The problem with Salt and Soda, my J went to Jamiroquai. My brain's on the fritz today, folks. I think it's the blues. It's just the blues. I have that cluster of colored brains in my head. It's just the blues, man. They're in trouble. So I put that idea out there, and then as she's rehearsing, and I know the other chick pulls out. So then Lily's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is like 4 days before the bit, and she's like, I got to find a girl. And so, of course, she immediately went to Craigslist and wanted girl to make out with me. Inquire within. That ad works quite a bit, by the way, if you're another girl. It does not work very often if you're a man. Trust me. So she puts that out there, but that's fine. So my friend and I are going to go to the show, and I'm very excited to get to the show. And then the morning of the show, I go, everything's fine. I go to sleep, and then I wake up at 8:00 Monday night, and I've got a Facebook message and a phone message and an email message from my friend telling me that unfortunately they are unable to attend the show. And I wake up at 8:00 because I slept all day because I've been talking to some companies about some things. And I will spare you this time. So I was disappointed, but I called Lily right away, and I said, "Hey, my friend is unable to come, so here's my proposal to you. And by the way, I'm talking to Lily now. It's 8 o'clock, so Lily is fully into Business Lily mode. I've talked about Business Lily on here before. Lily is Lily with me, and she's relaxed and laid back. But when you get her at her show, forget about it. She's a goddamn drill instructor, and she just absorbs any tension that's in the air and tries to process it into effort. You know what I mean? She just tries to make sure that everything works out fine. She shows up, she's in charge of everyone and everything, and she's on the beat. Let's go, go, go. So that's Business Lily. So I call, and I know I don't even want to call Business Lily. But I figure I can at least dump this in her lap now to give her the chance to make some extra money. So she answers unbelievably, she answered the phone. That was a shock to me. I didn't think she would. But I said, hey, it's Mike. I said, she goes, yeah? Because, again, Business Lily. And I said, my friend can't come. So I'm giving you the option. You can sell both of our tickets if you can make some extra money. And I think I'm doing a good thing, folks. As you know, I'm thinking to let her make a little extra cash because I didn't want to just come and take one seat. And, if you can make some money, go ahead and make some money. So I will try to do this as best I can from memory. This is the actual phone call. Let's do the whole phone call. Ring. This is Lily. Hey, it's Mike. Yeah? Look, the person I'm coming with tonight has unfortunately had to bail, so they can't come. Yeah. Okay, but what I want to tell you is maybe you can go ahead and sell our tickets. If I don't want to come and take one seat, so if I could go ahead and just let you have the opportunity. No, that doesn't work. All the seats are sold. Your seats are accounted for. I'm not going to be selling any more seats. I've told everybody nobody's going to get any more seats. Are you coming or not?
Did I really say
Yep.
that?
Karen was sitting right next to me.
I also said I want you to come.
Well, I know you want me to come, but but it was very clipped and very, because again, you're busy. You're probably getting makeup put on and people are pushing your boobs up to your head. I don't know what the fuck's happening. That's right. I could say that on television, folks. They were pushing your tits up to your head. There you go. That's better. They weren't pushing your titties up to your head. All right. So, no, awful. So she goes, are you coming or not? And I went, it's so funny because part of me wanted to get pissed because Business Lily was yelling at me, but I knew she was Business Lily. So, and I wanted to go to the show. I really did. So when she dropped it like that, I just went, yes, I want to come. And she goes, great. See you when you get here. Hang up. Hangs up the phone. So I said, all right, that's fine. I was thrilled. And then I looked at Karen and I go, hey, can you come? She can't because she's working real early. And boy, is she thrilled about that. Anyway, because, jobs and their pesky arrival times. Anyway, I'm not being fair, but I sort of am. She just, she was mad, not mad. She was disappointed that I was going to something she couldn't go to because she had to get up early in the morning. And when you've been off for so long, you're just like, hey, you're used to doing whatever you want, but now you kind of can't. So, and I felt bad. But she was very nice about it. Sort of. No, but I asked her if she wanted to go and she couldn't. And I was actually disappointed because I would have liked to have seen the show. So I got dressed. All right. Why you don't care that I got dressed? Why do I even have to tell you that?
We don't want you coming naked.
That's the only way I'm coming. Ha ha. Hopefully, for my dry cleaner's sake, because I get my underpants dry cleaned. Yes, and I call them underpants. If I wore them. Oh, what? I did that for a long time. Like for a period, I didn't wear like any underwear for, it was like, my 20s. You know what I mean? Like that thing. Literally, I'm not even joking. Like I freeballed it the whole time. And you're just like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And it was so, I remember the day Karen found out that that was the case. Because she didn't, obviously you didn't know. And when Karen met me, she was a virgin. And we wound up doing something, and then something happened, and somebody's hand went inside somebody's pants, and then she was just like, and I don't know if she was expecting there, another layer of protection of some sort, but nope. And I will tell you because she thought it was the greatest thing in the world at that time. Yeah, she was like, she was just like, because again, for her it was all Christmas at that point. You know what I mean? Just. She'd been whatever, who cares? I'm not going to go into it. So, But yeah, I freeball it that whole time, and not realizing, what a horrible thing that is. Really, not really. I mean, it's not. I'm not a disgusting person, but at the same time, it just seemed like the thing to do. I started doing it when I was going out to clubs, and that just became the norm. And then for a decade passed. What are you doing? Put some underwear on, idiot. 10 years went by. It was like the clock was just whizzing the hands. And then I went, Jesus, I need to buy some underwear, right? At some point. Holy shit. It's time to cover my balls. 10 years have gone by. 30th birthday. I woke up. You know what I want? Underwear. All right. Dumbass. So what was I saying? So I got ready to go to the show. Are you going to futz with the fridge magnets again and distract me? Who cares? Let them fall off, motherfucker. Who cares? All right. I don't care. Play with your fridge. Go in your fridge. Make a sandwich. I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do. So I got ready to go to the show, and I don't know if I mentioned I got dressed. I mentioned I got dressed. Grabbed a shower, too. I did all of that. And I flipped that. Grabbed a shower, then got dressed. And went out to the show, drove down to the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. And the thing with the Monday Night Teas, folks, what you need to remember, if you're in town for the Monday Night Teas, I tell you it starts at 10 o'clock. However, the doors are at 9:15.
Doors are at 9:30 for seating. Bars open at 6.
Doors are at 9:30, bars at 6. But if you're going to the show, get there a skosh early. Because you want to sit down and you want to get a good seat. And especially, I should tell you, I know that I need to get there early because our friend Lily has me on a list. So if I get there late, then all of the people who are sitting are going to sit down, and then I'm going to be standing there like a dumb fuck looking for somewhere to sit down. And then trying to scooch people over because a lonely, weird perv who came by himself to watch a burlesque show because nobody knows that I'm really Lily's friend. And they just look at me askance like, who's that dude? Would have to move over and let me sit down, and that's not the case. They don't want to. So I like to get there. And I also, I think we all know, I'm very particular. So there are certain seats I like to sit at in the Monday Night Teas. There are places I like to be. And when I got there, my preferred seat was gone, actually, the first when I arrived. I like to sit in the back by the light switch by the exit, right there in that little corner. But that was gone, but that's okay. I was able to find a great seat over on the other side. I went and sat down. I said hello to a few people. I said hello to our friend Lily, of course. I waited in line because I don't like to cut in the line. Even though I'm on the list, I wait in line with people because they have also paid and they need to get seated before me because they are customers. They're actual real people. So I get in line and I'm behind 2 girls who might enjoy one another's company very much. Certainly one of them does. All right. I can't say her name because she will know her name. Well, she's never going to hear this in a million years, but enough people know me and listen to this show, and they might know her because one of the girls was a dancer. And she had brought her friend, let's just call her Tough Guy. Because she had, short nails and she was wearing man's clothes and she had a man's haircut and she was a tough guy. And they were in front of me and we were waiting to get into line. And this is the weird thing. If you get into the Monday Night Teas, there's a dark bar in the front and then you have to pass through like a foyer to get to the back where the show is. So the closer we get to the foyer, I'm there with Tough Guy and her girlfriend and we're getting closer. And then I see ankles. At the closer we get to the door, I see fishnetted ankles in the air. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening in the foyer? And 2, can we hurry this line up so I can get a piece of the action that's happening in the foyer? As we get closer, I see that there's a woman. I just kicked the mic stand. There's a woman lying down in the foyer with her ankles in the air. She's got her legs up in the air and she keeps crossing and uncrossing her legs. And then I look and I can't see her head. All I can see are her tits are falling out of her clothes. And she's wearing a burlesque outfit. So I'm like, she's got to be a dancer, right? I hope to God she's not just bored of the line. Jesus, you got to be the biggest attention whore who ever lived at that point. But then when I get closer, I see the face, and I recognize this person as my former accountant, Red Snapper. Looking awfully different than she did when she was carrying the 2. Although I can tell you, as she laid there on the fucking bench, she was definitely carrying the 2s. And at that point, the 2 of them were carrying her, quite frankly. Ankles in the air, she's lying there and she's just like and playing with her hair. I mean, it was just this weird It's like that old joke where you see Superman flies over and you see Wonder Woman bucking her hips on the fucking on the roof, and he flies down and he fucks her super fast, and the Invisible Man's ass is sore for a week. Sure, it's a great one. Jokes about invisible rape are never funny. But it's Superman and it's fun. No! That might happen. And then it's all going to be your fault. So I show up and there's a snapper with her legs in the air looking like she's waiting for company, quite frankly. I mean, it was crazy. And I just go, "Hey, Red." And the weird thing was I had commiserated with Tough Guy and her girlfriend because we just saw ankles and tits, and it was like, I go, they both looked, and then they looked at me, and I go, "That's weird, right? That seems kind of weird." And they're like, "That is weird." But then when we got closer, and then I saw it was Red, and I'm like, "Hey, Red, idiot! I know that weird person with her ankles in the air, waiting to get jumped." And she's like, "Hi." I said, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, just waiting for the show." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, good for you." And I should tell you, then I get to tell Lily that story, and then she's like, "Yeah, that was a plan." I said, "What?" She goes, "A guy who was helping me with the show said, you know what, I don't want to tell you how to do things, but maybe you should have some hot chicks out in the lobby." And I, honestly, because he has a cock, that's a great idea. I mean, honestly, it's, and I'm so, honestly, it seems like something you would have thought of, quite frankly.
I was pissed I didn't think.
Yeah, because
I was like, you guys should be going there.
Yeah, that's a real balls cock type of decision. Hey, get the hot girls out front. You know what I mean? Well,
I just kept thinking hot girls everywhere.
You should, yes, but you should do it every week because there's hot girls everywhere every week.
Yeah.
You need girls out there. That's the move. Trust me, Tough Guy was all over it. So so I walk in and I peek my head and I'm waiting to get. There's like 5 people ahead of me, and I just hear Mike Schmidt, Mike Schmidt. And I look over and I see our friend Lily Von Stubb. And this is a different tone from Business Lily. This is a different tone of Lily that I've actually heard a couple of times before. And I see her, and she's sitting down, and she looks gorgeous. She got her hair all poofed out, and she's sitting there in her dress, and she's sitting down. So I know something's up, because usually she is on her feet at the door, and then in the back, and then in the stage, and then in the light person. She runs everything. Iron fist. She is the fucking anti-mame of that fucking room, making sure everything is going down. And she's sitting down, and I'm like, uh-oh. So she goes, "Come in, don't wait in line, just come in." And I recognize, again, I've said I've heard Business Lily, and we have our friend producer Lily, and I recognize this voice. I've heard it once or twice before. This is Drunk Lily.
Yes.
And I'm like, why is Drunk Lily here before the show? That makes no sense. That you know who's really angry about that? Business Lily. She is so angry because Business Lily passes out a sheet of paper to every performer telling them not to drink before the show. It advises them how to behave and what to do and what her rules for her room are, and one of them are no alcohol before your performance. And then I walk in, and there's fucking Business Lily morphing into Drunken Lily on a chair right before my very eyes. And she's acting like the older sister in 16 Candles, who's fucking who's like all high and like she can't control her face. Or actually, you know what? You're like that, but you were more like Carolyn. You were more like the girlfriend, the prom queen, who winds up with Anthony Michael Hall in the car. "I give this present to you," and she, "Chug-a-lug, Pooh Bear." Oh, that's who you were. You're like, "Yay, yay! I'm drunk, yay!" And I can't believe Drunken Lily's there. My head is on a swivel for Business Lily, because if Business Lily sees Drunk Lily, there's going to be a huge problem. So she's like, "Don't wait in line, come on in." So I look at Tough Guy and I'm like, "Excuse me," and she makes a fist at me and I walk past so I don't get beat up. And I skitter across the stage to where our friend Drunk Lily is sitting. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. I'm drunk." I'm like, "Why are you drunk?" She goes, "I fucked my knee up so bad before the show, and I have to drink because it hurts so bad." And I go, "What happened?" She's like, "I hurt it so bad."
Oh, shit.
"Chug-a-lug, Pooh Bear. I give this present to you." And she hands me a pin that says erotic titty. And I'm like, "Okay, all right, well, I'm glad you're fine." I go, "You look gorgeous." She's like, "Thank you." "Oh, thank you. Do you think the show's going to be good?" "Yeah, it's going to be good." "Okay, Thanks. Sit anywhere. Anywhere you want.
It was not
Yes, you were. It was bad.
Oh my God.
And I said, okay. See, that's why you don't remember the phone call. You don't remember Business Lily on the phone call because drunk Lily showed up and wiped out all the memories of that discussion.
Look, it was.
Sit anywhere you want. Okay. Thank you. I'll come by and see you later. I'll be here. I can't go anywhere because my knee hurts. Okay. So you're doing that now? She's pulling out Jello shots now to do, folks. Because that was the thing is they sold drinks. They had a drink menu, a special drink menu. They had the Purple Rain, which was like a Purple Hooter. You ever have a Purple Hooter? Dudes, I got fucked up on Purple Hooters once as a kid. Like I said, I've been drunk like 6 times in my life. Once on Tequila Slammers, once on Purple Hooters. And once when we just got drunk, I told you that story on my 21st birthday. We went backwards in the drink book. Started at Z and went backwards. Just keep making drinks, starting with the letters, and until I stop drinking or I vomit or I pass out. But Purple Hooters was one of the, because again, I like anything that's fucking, fruity and doesn't taste like a drink. So they had a Purple Rain, and then they had the erotic teenies. Yes. And then they had the Jello shots, which Lily made herself. And apparently enjoyed sampling quite a bit of them. And then the other drink was a Raspberry Beret, which was champagne and raspberry liqueur mixed up. And they all looked good. They looked like good drinks. So Lily's like, sit anywhere. And I'm like, okay. So I go and I go sit down, and this is weird. I sit down, and who sits next to me? Tough Guy and his girlfriend.
Awesome.
Her girlfriend. And they sit down. And then other people started looking. Man, I apologize. I have to interrupt. It smells really good in here right now. Somebody's cooking some food somewhere, and it smells good. Did you get up to make? I did not see you go to make a sandwich. It smells. That's weird. Because I haven't eaten dinner yet. Really? Really? That's something drunken Lily would say. I can't believe you would say that. I'm glad you didn't say it out loud, folks. That you don't want to know what she just said. All right, so I find my seat, and then I'll sit down, and drunken Lily's over on the side, and normally at the Monday Night Teas, they play music, people are drinking, they're coming in, and the room is starting to fill up. It's packed. I mean, it is fucking, because it's standing room only, but this time, she sells standing room only tickets, but that don't mean every seat is full, and there might be a couple of people standing. Bullshit. You couldn't move in this fucking room. It was like the first Tarantino show we did, and the second one, where you could not move. So I was lucky to get my seat. I'm sitting down, we're ready to start the show, and the music is playing, and Lily has an announcement that plays before the show, and it usually says, it's Lily's voice, and she'll say, the show is going to start soon. Please turn off your cell phones, and da-da-da-da, and then it'll play one more song, and then the show starts. Well, for this particular show, our friend Lily Von Stupp was thinking, hey, why don't I contact friend of the show, David Hernandez, who does all of the audio for our show, the podcast. He does, music and what does he do? The commercials and what else does he do? He does the artwork and what else does he do? Everything. He basically does everything, folks. That was my point. He does everything except this part, the talking part, the stupid part that anybody could do. He does all of the hard stuff. So she contacted him, and she's like, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you just do an announcement for me that would basically start the show? And David's like, okay, I'll do that. And then he emails her back. He did music. He did a drop. And he did a Prince voice. He sang the announcement. Instead of just saying, ladies and gentlemen, because I told her you should just have like a voice going, ladies and gentlemen, the time, all that stuff, the time from Purple Rain. But Dave did a fucking song. He did like a minute-long song telling people to enjoy the show and to turn their cell phones off, and it's erotic titty. And and I heard it, and I'm like, you're fucking joking, right? You know what? Fuck it. Well, let's put it in. Let's put it in the show. All right, it'll play here in the show at some point. It may have played already. No, it didn't. How weird would that be? If people heard it, and they're like, what's that? And then I'm explaining it after the fact. No, it'll be later. But yeah, so he sent that, and I heard it at my house, and I went, you're fucking, because I didn't know she asked him to do it. She never told me she asked him. So he sent it at the same time he sent the Mugs promo. I got them both, and the email said one for you and one for you, and I didn't know what that meant. And then I played the erotic titty one, and I went, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. And so then Lily tells me, she goes, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he would do that. I just asked him for one small thing, and he just did that. Like, I didn't even expect music or anything. So I'm in the club, and the lights kind of dim, and then I hear bump 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 ba, like, because he had a horn blasts that opened it, and then it's just very Prince, and he does the Prince voice, and I can't do it justice. You'll hear it. It's coming up. What should we put it here? Okay, you know what? Yeah, all right, it's right here. Listen, this is what he did. It's like, all right, so the lights go down. I'm sitting at the Monday Night Teas, and the lights go down, and usually the people, the regulars are there, and they're expecting Lily's voice. They usually hear her voice, but it's kind of people are talking, but then when lights go down, people kind of get quiet, and all of a sudden you hear this come out of the speakers.
Erotic titty.
Welcome everybody to Monday Night Teases. Erotic titty.
Erotic titty.
Please put your cell phones and cameras away. Sit back and enjoy. The ladies.
Unbelievable. That played so, and again, it's only like 45 seconds long or something, but the lights went down and that played, and bum, 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 and it starts to play, and people start dancing already, like because they hear the music. And the thing is, it's a nightclub, so it's kind of still there's a rumble of people talking, but people are also listening, and people started laughing because they heard it immediately, like, oh my God, what is that? And the people by me, there's like 4 people who thought it was Prince. Because again, it's a nightclub, so it's kind of muffled and quiet, but you can hear it, and you hear Monday Night Teas, and you hear the thing, and they're like, "How did she?" And this tough guy looks at his girlfriend or her girlfriend and goes, "How did she get Prince to do that?" Like says that out loud. And I didn't want to say anything. I did. I did honestly. I wanted to go, "That's my friend," but I didn't. But it was great because people just like they got it right away, and they heard it, and they laughed, and then people started dancing, and it set a tone immediately. Okay. And I had been talking to Lily about the show. She said, well, you know what? I got to get an MC. She originally asked me to MC the show. And I'm not good at that. I'm not good at MCing her burlesque show because I do this. I talk, I do stand up, and nobody's there to hear that or see that. They want to see a guy in baggy pants hit a guy with a fish. You know what I mean? That's the fuck what they want to do. They want to see these dudes go out there with like suspenders and snap them and then spray a seltzer bottle in their face and all that nonsense. And then they want to see tits. That's it. That's all they're there for. And I don't blame them. And look, I'm not saying boo, they don't get me. I'm saying I don't belong in that atmosphere because I'm different and I take them out of the experience because I'm just a smartass. Who the fuck wants? You can see a smartass anywhere in the world. If you go to a variety show like that, why not see acts that are multifaceted and can do different things? So she had asked me to MC and I begged off because selfishly I also wanted to watch the show. But also because I just don't think I belong. And Lily has fought with me before. She's like, yes, you do, but who cares? So I got to sit there, though, and watch this Prince song played, and I didn't know who was emceeing. Because up until even last week's show, Lily's like, I don't know who's emceeing. I have no idea yet. And she had talked to some person and then another person. She had all these different options, and she'd been rehearsing. I mean, I talk about the teas, all right, and I mention it in passing, and I always say I'm in a stripper's kitchen, but you have no idea the level of work that goes into this fucking show. You have no idea the planning that needs to be done to bring together a fucking variety show once a week, every week, for fucking 10 years. It's ridiculous. And I could never do it. So when I get there and I watch it, and I don't know who's going to MC, a few days beforehand, she has no idea who she's going to have MCing the show, so I don't know what I'm going to see. So sure enough, the Prince thing ends, and then Lily stands up, and a guy walks down from the rafter, like there's a lift, like there's stairs up to a place where the dancers usually hang out, and he's wearing a gold lame jacket and he has a mustache, and the song "If the Kid Can't Make You Come" starts, and I'm like, she's opening with this bit. I thought it was the closing bit. Like in my mind, I was like, you do it, it's this long seduction number and it closes and then there's making out and it's going to be fucking amazing and hot. But instead, Lily decided that she was going to open the show with it. So there's no MC that I can see. All right, no MC, just the music starts after David. There's this beat, and then if the kid can't make you come starts, and this guy comes down dressed as Morris, and he puts his hand out, and Lily takes his hand, and she stands up, and he takes her on stage. And like I said, I didn't really envision how the bit was going to be. All I knew is I wanted girls making out at the end of it. Because again, I think of these intricate burlesque ideas, but at the end, as long as the girls are making out, it makes up for whatever the fuck happened beforehand. Remember all that shit I said about bad burlesque is terrible? If at the end of it you make out with another girl, I'll forget the previous 4 minutes. I don't fucking care. If you're all over each other in a meaningful way, I don't give a shit about. You could have stood in the center of the stage and not moved. You could have just read a newspaper until the end of your bit and then made out with a chick. And I'm like, that's the greatest burlesque dance I've ever seen. So I didn't know where this was going to fucking go. So the guy comes down as Morris and he puts his hand out and he takes Lily on stage. And like I said, the song is funny and flirty and sexy and funky and fun. And that's a lot of F's for a song, folks. And so I was interested to see, because the song starts and I knew immediately what it was, and then other people started to get into it, and then you hear the lyric because it's funny, and this is such a brilliant choice. Okay, this is such a brilliant choice because they could have tarted it up. Lily could have done a bunch of different things. They could have tried to be silly with it, but instead they played it completely straight. A guy dressed as Morris Day with a fake mustache and Lily in her fucking hot outfit with her hair poofed up and her big tits, and they got up and they lip synced the song as if it were really Morris and a girl talking to one another. They didn't try to joke the joke, because a lot of people will try to joke the joke, and I see a lot of that in burlesque too. People will use like a jokey song and then dress up like a cleaning lady and wah, wah, and they got a mop, and then at the end of it they're like, look, I'm the sexy cleaning lady, look at my hot mop. No, not interested. Okay, it doesn't work. You can't joke a joke. So when you see it done right and you see it done well, you recognize it. And they didn't try to joke the joke. They played it completely straight, as if that guy was Morris Day and he was going to fuck this girl. And they mouthed the lyrics. They lip synced it back and forth to one another. Because again, if you don't know the song, you won't know how funny it is. But he keeps calling her baby. And then while they're fucking, they actually fuck in the song. And he goes, what's my name? And she goes, Morris. And she says it while she's basically half coming. And then she goes, what's my name? And he goes, baby? It's fucking brilliant. It's baby, ain't it? God damn it. And they do the crowd from the second that starts, because again, an MC comes out and he's like, if I come out there, I'm like, hey, when I saw Prince, it was so good. And then I like purple, and nobody gives a shit. All right? Nobody fucking cares. Prince is short. I am tall. Duh. Hey, do you guys know who John Butcher from the John Butcher Axis is? He kind of looks like Prince, sort of like Jimi Hendrix and Prince crossed. No one cares. Get to the tits. Get to the Prince. Immediately they start with this sketch, and it's hot, and it's fun, and it's sexy, and then they fake fuck right there on stage. He goes down on her. He disappears behind the chair. She's got her legs in the air as far as she can with her knee. And she leans her head back so her hair's over the chair. It looks sexy. It looks great. And it's funny. And they do the whole song. They do the whole bit. The whole fucking bit. And blows the roof off. It's such a great opening to the goddamn show. And everybody goes crazy because you're immersed in it at that point. You know what you're in for. It's Prince night. It's not, hey, you know what? There might be some Prince songs and then there's some burlesque. No, this whole thing is going to be built around Prince. And Morris and the Prince oeuvre. And that's actually a noise Lily made on stage. Oeuvre! Because of her knee. So then he stands up, Morris stands up, and he takes Lily, and they go to walk off. And then, because they had done the stripping thing, he took his jacket off and handed up. And then Eddie, Lily's, Eddie the clown was Jerome. He came over in the middle of the bit with a mirror, held it up, and the guy brushes his hair and combs his mustache. Fucking brilliant. And here's the best part of it, folks, all right, because I don't know the guy, all right, but he goes down on Lily and he's doing all this stuff, and then he sits up at one point to do a line. The mustache is gone. It's one of those huge fucking weird Sam Breakstone selling cottage cheese, Groucho Marx black duct tape fucking mustaches. It's gone. And I looked at Tough Guy and I went, the mustache is gone. Because I had nobody else to talk to. I had to look at Tough Guy and go, the mustache is gone. And she looks, she goes, what? And I go, the mustache, it's gone. And she goes, and then her friend, the dancer, goes, I thought that was really his mustache. Which immediately made me want to go, you are the dumbest person alive. It's a flat 1D. It's not even a 2D. It's a 1D flat stripe under his nose. Who grows that mustache? Tough Guys, cuff her. So I said, the mustache is gone. I'm like so happy. Because again, when I see stuff that's working and is great, I'm happy. I'm happy. So he sits up and then he goes back down and comes back like, she sticks the mustache on his face. And he gets dressed, and then they finish, and they do, and then he takes her to the side, and then they have an interchange. There's like a sketch where she's like, I heard about, I can't do it, but Lily's a bimbo basically throughout the entire show, and she keeps talking about, where's Prince? I heard Prince is here, and then Morris is like, you don't need Prince, baby, you got Morris, and he's doing this Morris Day over the top ridiculous imitation, but he's wearing this flashy outfit that looks great, and their interplay back and forth. And she's like, I want Prince. Well, you want Prince? And then he says, you know what? I think we need to get someone else out here. What if Sheila E. came out? And then the glamorous life starts. There's no MC. Nobody introduces anybody. They're just going to say the names of the songs. I get that right away, and I'm like, that's fucking brilliant, because it never stops the action. It never gets people out of the headspace of, oh, this is Prince night and this is all about Prince. You don't have a fat guy like me coming out and going, hey, another thing, by the way, folks, I don't know if you know this, 1999, I was 32. All right, so nobody gives a shit, pal. Tits. So she goes to the side, and they play Glamorous Life, and then a dancer named Glama Sutra comes out. Glama Sutra, amazing ass. And she does a straight dance to Glamorous Life, which I was actually happy that, well, first of all, I love that song, and I want to hear it, really amplified. But secondly, I was glad that she chose to dance to that song, because she really danced to that song. She didn't come out and just fucking, sit around, because that's a fast fucking song. That's a song I used to dance to when I was a kid in clubs with no underwear on. I would often banging my balls around like a fucking wind chime. But she danced fast, but she still stripped and did the thing with the glove and the stockings and all, and she just pulled it off. But it was a straight ahead dance. It wasn't, and it was what was needed after the initial one, because it was so funny and kind of set off the tone. And she came out and was like, haha, watch this. Dun, 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 dun. By the way, she did not say that. If she did, see, that's an example of bad burlesque. If someone comes out and goes, check this out. Dun, 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 dun. Terrible burlesque. Not a fan. Keep your gloves on. So, and you can leave your hat on. So she, Glama goes out there and does her thing and dances and gets down to her ass, and then throws on her fur coat and walks off. Glamorous Life, nice. And then Lily stands up again, and then that's what they're going to do. They're going to host the whole show as Morris and Baby. And Baby is looking for Prince the whole time, and Morris is trying to convince her to, what? Come on, I'm Morris, right? And then she's like, yeah, you're right. And then she winds up fucking Morris over and over. But then she's still looking for Prince. So after Glama Sutra ends, I believe Sue de Jour was next. Is that right? Yeah. All right. So and the thing is, with the narrative that Lily was doing with the guy, they had a script, an actual script, and they would use verbal cues to bring on the music and bring on the next performer, and so they talked about Purple Rain. Did you mention Purple Rain? I don't even know. I'm not going to remember everything. But somehow they said they tripped it that it was going to be Purple Rain. And then the guitar, that chord hits. And this girl, Sue de Jour, walks out. And she is really hot. I mean, she's got a really hot body. And she does that slow walk where she walks all the way to the stage. And she's wearing a dress. And I've also learned these terms in burlesque. There's a tease strip, like a slow strip. What's it called? And I forgot what the one that's supposed to be like real sexy and slow and like a fan dance almost. A classic. That's what it's called. The classic. So, and that's what she did basically. Yeah. And she danced to Purple Rain, and and she took off her dress and had. Look, I don't know if everybody went out and bought purple underwear for this show, or everyone just enjoys purple underwear. I have no clue, but every girl had the most interesting purple things I've ever seen. So she takes off her dress, and she's got this thing, and I mean, her ass, it was a see-through ass thing with purple fringe, but it was black lace, and then her top had a purple fringe on it, and then she had a boa that was not mangy, ladies and gentlemen. She had a real boa that I don't know what that cost, but it cost a lot of money, and she pulled it out, and she started writhing around on the floor with that, and then and she did this thing where she put her legs up in the air with the boa, and she pulled it down slowly through. I can't even describe it, but it was great. and then she stood up, and the top came off, and the tassels went twirling, and that was that. With Purple Rain again, the music itself brings the room to a fucking peak, but then her dance also was. I mean, just with it was so good. And then she went all the way through the end, and then she hopped off, and she actually did through the whole the ending part, the the backwards. Thing, I'm fine because the Lord is coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. By the way, if you didn't know what Prince is saying backwards there. And then she walks off. And then Morris and Baby stand up, and they start doing more talking. And I believe, was Egypt next?
Yes.
I think so.
Black Now.
A girl named Egypt Black Now comes out. Now, we've already seen Purple Rain. We've seen Glamorous Life. Now, these are hit songs, okay? And that was the danger I thought of the Prince shows. I'm like, well, a lot of people are going to be doing the same songs. You're going to hear the same thing over that you would expect. I expected everything, and I was like, well, I'm going to expect this, and then I'm going to get it. But the thing is, you got to go deep catalog on Prince. I mean, there's so many amazing songs that you can do. There's great stuff that would lend itself to even to hotness, to burlesque, to stripping, all of that stuff. And so the next girl comes out, and her name is Egypt Black Nile. And this, I find out later, like I'll tell you this now, I found out later, this is her debut. This is her Monday Night Tease debut. This is her fucking burlesque debut, okay? She comes out, and she's wearing this, like, purple and gold kind of crisscrossy outfit, and she comes out to The Question of You off of Graffiti Bridge. And the second it started, I'm like, God damn it. Because I didn't, that wasn't an album I was into, and a friend of mine just sent it to me. And I've been, so I started listening to it just like 4 months ago. And I wasn't familiar with it. And I was like, God damn, this album is awesome. And she comes out to The Question of You, and I knew immediately what it was. And I'm like, no way. And she starts dancing. And, all right, like I'll say this about Egypt Black Nile. I'm trying to describe the show. She was a pretty girl, but burlesque people come in all sizes and shapes. We know this, right? And that's the whole point. It's the art of the tease. It's the art of the dance. And, if a big girl is skilled in pulling one thing off, or a thin girl, that's fine. It works. Well, she's a little thick. I won't lie to you. Egypt Black Nile was a thick girl, but she gets out there, and she's a better dancer than anybody I've ever seen at the Monday Night Tease. She starts dancing and spinning and jumping around, and then does a jumping split. And this is not a girl you would see on top of a wedding cake. All right, this is a woman. All right, and she went up in the air and came down in a split, and you heard everybody go, "Oh!" Like they did not see that coming at all. And then she gets out of the split, and she reaches like somewhere into her costume. I don't know where the fuck it was hidden, some super cape, wherever she hides her split powers, and she reaches in and pulls out those fucking weird ribbon gymnastics floor exercise ribbons, and they're purple and gold. And she starts doing floor exercise ribbons as she's jumping around and dancing and spinning to The Question of You. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding, right? She brought out those ribbons and I went crazy. I started hitting the fucking table. Me and the tough guy, I think, high-fived. It was crazy. She punched me in the face. I didn't care. I was all for it. Because I had never seen this girl, and she brought it, man. Because, again, that's the thing. If they're doing it right, because like I said, there's very little worse than bad burlesque. But good burlesque, you never want to leave. You'll watch it all night. You just keep it coming. Keep it coming. As long as it's good, I'm in. And she crushed it. Egypt crushed it. And it was so amazing. And then, bowed and walked off. And then, of course, Baby stood up. And Baby and Morris had some more sketchery. And did some talking. And are we up to the confrontation at this point? I think we are, right?
Yes.
All right. So then the reason this sketch right now is Lily's looking for Prince now. Baby's looking for Prince. And Morris is like, come on, baby. You don't want Prince. I'm here. I'm right here. You don't want to be with Prince. And she's like, no, I do want Prince. And he goes, didn't you hear what happened when Apollonia 6 and Vanity 6 were fighting over Prince? And Baby's like, no, I didn't hear what happened. He goes, well, let's find out. And he walks off. And then you hear Nasty Girl. I can't do it, but it just starts, okay? And the way the room is set up, there's a stage, and the girls at Lily's show come from not backstage. They come from off behind the bar. Like you have to, because that's where everybody gets prepared. There's a back room. So they have to come through the crowd. Performers have to come through the crowd, which is never a problem. Everybody lets them through. But you can also make it an asset. So that music starts, and nobody, you hear at Vanity 6, and that's going to be great. But still nobody knows what it is, because here's the thing. This is what you lose with an MC. An MC essentially tells you what you're about to see, and then you see it. What worked so great with these sketches was all they did was hint at what was coming up, and then you got to discover it for yourself. There was no holding your hand and taking you right up to the precipice. There was just, oh, this might happen, and then you had to figure out what it was as they came to the stage. So Vanity 6, Nasty Girl starts, and there's just like a kind of a commotion over by where the girls come in, and you just see the sea of people part, and you just see hot girl after hot girl after hot girl after hot, like it's just like, and they're doing a slow burn walk to the stage. Like I could do it perfectly, because look, give me heels and I'll walk it. If you got Vanity 6, I will show you exactly how to do it. But they fucking just boom, ka-dunk, dunk, and just owned the fucking floor. And there were 6 of them. They just kept coming out of the back room. Hot girls. It was like a hot girl train. And they come walking out and they separate. 3 girls go to the back of the stage. 3 girls come to the front of the stage. And the 3 girls in the front of the stage lip sync Nasty Girl. And they have a choreographed dance to Nasty Girl. And they're dancing and they're doing dance and spinning and doing a dance routine to Nasty Girl. While in the back, there's 3 girls just looking at them, making faces like, this is fucking awful. So then, after Nasty Girl plays for about a minute, the 3 girls in the back step up, and they push the other 3 out of the way, and Sex Shooter by Apollonia 6 starts. And those 3 start doing their choreographed dance because they're Apollonia 6, and now Vanity 6 is in the back making faces at how angry they are. So those 3 are dancing while the other 3 in the back are like pissed and like looking at one another. And then after a minute, Vanity 6 comes and pushes them out of the way. And the music is mixed perfectly. The music would stop. There was no stopping, no starting. It would just all of a sudden one song would start and the other girls would push the other girls out of the way and start dancing. And then vice versa. It would flip and flip. So it happened a few times. They were pushing each other out of the way. And then all of a sudden they're pushing each other. And then it just turns into a goddamn cat fight where the 6 of them start going at it. And the best part, Sex Shooter and Nasty Girl are playing together. They're just playing over one another. They didn't stop the music. They didn't scratch the fucking record. They didn't go, oh, look what's happening. They just started playing them together as if it was just like a fucking weird mix. It's just over, and it's just chaos. And the 6 of them are going at it, and they're ripping, and they start ripping their clothes off. That's the strip. They all just rip their clothes up. It's Red Snapper, and it's Jezebel Thunder, and it's Nikita Bitch Project, and it is that one girl has Glamasutra. And Shia Star? Sheila Star, but she has a middle name too. Shia, I don't know.
Not on stage.
Okay, Sheila. So it's Sheila Star, Jezebel Thunders, and Glamasutra, Red Snapper, Nikita Bitch Project, and there's one more girl. There is. Who was the lead for she was with Vanity 6?
Vanity 6 was Glamma and Red Snapper and Sheila Star. Jezebel Thunder was Apollonia with Nikita Bitch Project and Evil Twin.
Evil Twin was there. Yeah. And they start tearing everybody's clothes off. And just clothes are flying, bras are flying, and then and I'm just waiting for a pasty to fall off. Please, any pasty at all. I don't care. And then a couple, it sort of happened. I don't want to, it doesn't, if you're a fire marshal, it didn't happen. But when girls are ripping clothes off, who the fuck knows what's going to happen? So they start tearing the clothes off and all this stuff, and clothes are flying and bras are flying, and then of course the song ends, and then they look at each other like, it's the part with at the end of it, Nasty Girl when she goes, is that all? Wake me when you're done. I guess you'll be the only one having fun. And it goes, is that all? Wake me when you're done. And they all wake up and realize, oh, dude, we're fighting and we're naked. And they look at one another and they just kind of slink off stage. And they walk off until it's just Glamasutra and Red Snapper. And then they pick up the things and they look at each other like they're going to fight. And then they make out. Now, I will say this. They did not make out the way I wanted them to make out. They over the top kind of licked each other's faces and like pretended like they were making out in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. There was nothing sexy about it. They didn't lock stairs and touch hair and then go at it, which would have been great. But that's fine. In my head, they did later. But right there on the stage, they just kind of stopped and looked at each other like we were going to fight. And they should have got, I mean, you could have made it. I mean, it could have been really filthy, but they made it over. They went cartoony, which is fine because I can't ask girls. Because look, I as much as I want to make girls be lesbians, they can't be if they're not. Just ask Tough Guy. She knows. So that ends, and then they go to intermission. And how they go to intermission is my favorite part of the entire show. That's exaggerating, but what happened was Lily stood up and she's baby. And she's like, I'm going to go looking for Prince. And Morris is like, you can't go looking for Prince. He goes, you know what? You need to have another drink. She goes, I think I already had too much drink. And she's like, no, you need another drink. He goes, Vixen. And he calls over the waitress. And he goes, why did you just have a raspberry beret and I'll have an erotic teeny or whatever the fuck they had? And Lily's like, all right, I guess so. And she goes to drink it. And he has a $100 bill. And he hands it to Vixen. And he goes, here you go. Here you go, darling. Keep the change. And I'm in the audience. And in my head, I go, please do it. Please do it. You have to fucking do it. So he hands the $100 bill and he goes, here you go, darling. Keep the change. And she walks off And Morris looks over and he goes, Jerome. And I'm like, I wanted to scream, yes. But he goes, Jerome. And Jerome walks over and he goes, get my change. Yeah. God damn it. Right from the movie. Fucking fantastic. Loved it. I was so happy because the second he held out the $100 bill, he goes, keep the change in my head. I was so excited. And I'm like, please do it. Please do it. I think I even said it like under my breath. Jerome, get my change. I hit my table. I'm like, yeah. Tough guy's like, what? Nothing. My childhood's alive. Never mind. So they do that bit, and then they fucking go to intermission for 20 minutes. And then I walk around and I talk to some strippers who I know, which is nice. Always fun. I talk to Dizzy. Dizzy's a burlesque dancer. They're not strippers. But Dizzy... Yeah, but they wouldn't like that. You have a better handle on it than other girls do. Other girls seem to think that they're in the Louvre.
Some do. Most understand that we're a glorified stripper.
Well, just do your job and do it well. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can be above and beyond whatever anybody tries to ghettoize you as. And when I say stripper, I mean it reverently. I mean, believe me. I other than rent and car payments, I've probably spent money on nothing more in my life. And Karen's wedding rings, literally, like our engagement ring, our wedding ring, my car, and all the rent I've ever paid, and then that's probably it. I've spent more on strippers than I have on clothes and food. All right, back when I didn't wear underwear, back in the day. So, well, look, I had all that underwear money free. I had to save all of that money that I saved on underwear. What am I going to do with it, folks? You know what you do with money you don't spend on underwear? You tuck it in somebody's underwear. That's what you fucking do with it. So they go to intermission. I walk around. I talk to Dizzy. It's funny. Dizzy Von Dam is a burlesque dancer and a friend, and she's a good friend of Lily's, and she was working pickup as well on the show. And by the way, real quick, I glossed over Nikita Bitch Project. Oh, wow. Yeah. This is my first time seeing her alive and walking around. And man, if she's on the show, I got to go. That's one. She's just a walking hand job. Jesus Christ.
That red outfit that she's wearing. I went, Nikita.
Yeah. Yeah, she is a walking hand job, boy. Just in little tiny spinner girl, and just, yeah. All right. So, I talked to Dizzy, and she's like, she was telling me about what's been going on with her, and she's like, I'm ready for the Tarantino show, because Lily's bringing back the Tarantino show at some point this year. And I'm on the fence about doing it, like, because I've told you. Well, I've told you that that's not my thing anymore. I just don't think people care or want to see me do anything like that. So I said to Dizzy, she's like, yeah, we'll get ready for Tarantino. And I said, yeah, I think I'm just going to sit this one out. She goes, no, you're not. And I haven't seen her in 6 months. And I go, what? She goes, no, you're not. She goes, you're the show. Like, the show is an entity and you're part of it. You make the show what it is. And I go, yeah, I just talk. I go, that's ridiculous. And she goes, trust me. She goes, if you told everybody else in the show you weren't doing it, they'd be disappointed. Which is going to make it so much more worse for me to pull out.
Pull out. You're already on the flyer.
Yeah, I'm sure that's hard to fix.
I just spent $50 on flyers. You're not pulling out.
Hey, I just said the sentence so much more worse. I should give you $50 just because I said that. Terrible. Can't talk. So, all right. So I took the Diz, which was fun, and then walked around, and then it was get ready for the second half, and second half of the show starts, and there was no Morris and Lily at this point. People are kind of sitting down and gathering their drinks because there's music playing. Then the music kind of stops, and a guy goes out on stage and he sits down, and he's just in a suit. He's dressed nice, and he has a guitar. An electric guitar, not an acoustic, and it was like a white on pearl. Might have been a Strat. I think it was a Strat. And he just sits down, and I don't really notice him, and I don't know what I'm like. Oh, great! What kind of speakeasy bullshit are they going to do? Because again, folks, they've built up a ton of goodwill up to this point, but now I'm waiting for it to fall apart at all times. Like, what kind of speakeasy nonsense is this going to be? The guy with the guitar. Because, I'm there, again, we're there to see tits, and I'm there to see Lily, and there's a sketch, and I'm like, why is this guy up? He looked like G.E. Smith, like he's like kind of old and decrepit. And but he had, but the guitar was beautiful. Jesus Christ, was it beautiful? So he sits down, and I'm like, all right, what kind of sketch is this going to be? And then in your head, I'm trying to figure out what it could be. Like, again, I like deep cuts. You know what I mean? Like when she did The Question of You, I was so excited. I was like, God damn it. It's like, because there are albums you don't even think about, like Love Sexy. Oh my God, Love Sexy is a fucking fantastic album. It's got Alphabet Street on there. And the cover of Love Sexy is worth it. Fucking Naked Prince, genius. I don't know. I'm a little too excited about that, quite frankly. You can see what Prince was doing with his underwear budget. Exactly. He was pouring it into graphic design. The guy sits there with the guitar. So I'm trying to think about, I'm like, well, is this going to be Kiss? Because in the video, Wendy is sitting with the guitar and she plays Kiss. And then Prince is in front of her dancing and stuff. So that's in my head. I'm like trying to guess the song and what it's going to be. And because it's just going to be a guy with a guitar. And I'm like, well, what's prominent with guitar? And I'm trying to think of a hit song. And then a girl walks out on stage. And how do I describe this girl? She looked like Corey Glover from In Living Color. When Corey had a dread mohawk, okay, when they first came out. She looks a little like him, but obviously she's more attractive because she's a lady. She has a mohawk. It's thin. It's not a dread mohawk, but it's a mohawk, and she's shaved clean on the sides of her head and the back. It's a true mohawk. She's wearing a purple duster, ankle length. So it looks just like the jacket from the cover of fucking Purple Rain when he's on the motorcycle. And she's wearing boots, like big ass Prince boots. And she comes out on stage, and she's just standing there, and the guy starts to play guitar. And he's playing a slow song, and I don't recognize it at first because it's just acoustic. It's just him. And she starts singing, and she just goes, "Here we are." And I went, no fucking way. She sings "Do Me, Baby." Okay. Which is, deep cut. It's not really a deep cut if you know Prince, but for a burlesque show, I would have never thought anybody would have unearthed that. And she's singing it. Just acoustic. Well, not acoustic, electric. Because it's just him on guitar with her, accompanying her. And she starts singing, and I'm watching, and it's quiet. It's pin drop quiet in the club because she's nailing it. And I know the words, so I'm not singing, but I'm mouthing it. You know what I mean? Because I'm just into it. And I haven't talked to you about this, Lily, but Jesus, what a brilliant decision to start the second half of the show with this, because, in the beginning we'd had the Morris and the Lily and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, folks, it takes so much to put a show like this together, and you got to figure out the pacing. So, in the beginning they had the Silly with the Morris, and then you bring in the Sue de Jour with the Purple Rain and the classic number, and then you have the Apollonia fight. And so everybody's kind of buzzing from that, and then they go to the intermission, and a way to settle everybody down, because it's a packed house. So a way to get everybody in their seats and paying attention again is to have a woman who every eye in the room is on her, even when she's not singing, because she's almost 6 feet tall with a fucking mohawk in a purple duster. So everyone wants to look at her anyway. And then she opens her mouth, and you realize, oh my God, she can sing her fucking ass off. And this guy's playing guitar, and he's noodling all over the place, but staying true to the song, not overpowering her at all, and she's dominating. And it focused everybody in the room. And almost to the point where I felt like it was almost like a sporting event where everybody just went, oh, well, fucking second half kickoff. Let's fucking get ready for this. And they all paid attention to what the fuck was happening. Everybody just sat there raptured in their seats and listened to her sing. And stupid me, I'm sitting there and I'm mouthing the words, and she gets near the end and it ends, and I gave her a standing ovation, and then other people stood up, and I shuddered to see the video because I just went, God damn, yeah. I'm screaming. I'm screaming in the back of the room. I'm just like, fuck yeah, you're goddamn right. It was because it was so perfect. It was so perfect. If you saw her do it anywhere, it would be perfect. But the fact that it came in as the first act of the second half to focus everyone and get them all back in the game and back on with Prince, it wasn't funny, it wasn't silly, it was just genius. And it made everybody sit up and take notice and go, oh, fuck, we're playing for keeps here in the second half, aren't we? And it just made everybody laser-like focus on the stage, and she blew it, and we standing ovation. We stood up and went crazy for her. It was I can't, and I went up to her. She's the only one, because I don't like to go to dancers and go, hey, you were great, because I look like a perv and an idiot. But I should tell you this too. She sang the song, killed it. Purple Duster boots, killed it. Guitar, singing, song's ending. She's winding down. She reaches up and she pulls her coat to the side and just shows she's topless. And she just shows one breast with a pasty on it. One. She didn't strip. She didn't dance. She sang her ass off and then went, oh, by the way, yeah, I got tits too. They're right here.
Yeah.
And they're great. And then she put it away. Her name was Heather Henderson. Heather Henderson was the name of the girl. And I, at the end of the show, I'll skip ahead here. There was a big thing, and I walked up to her, and she was on stage dancing and having fun, and I leaned in and I said, you are ridiculous. And she goes, oh, thanks. And I go, no. I go, you don't, the placement of what you did was perfect, and then you made everybody focus. You were so great. And then to not take your coat off and just show at the end, just the one reveal was so genius. And she's just like, oh, and she was really nice and she was gracious. But I had to tell her, normally, like I said, I don't want to perv on dancers, but it was so great. I can't stress enough. Again, her name's Heather Henderson. She's on Facebook and you can look her up. I don't know if she sings and all that, but
Yes.
yeah.
I have to say this because it's amazing.
What?
She's the lead female vocalist in Penn Jillette's No God band.
Okay.
She travels the country with Penn Jillette's band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
She's
that.
An incredible vocalist. The fact that she comes and plays with us is just so amazing.
Well, it was great.
She's phenomenal.
Well, and to put her at the top of the second act was so huge.
Thank you.
No, sure.
No, Mike, you have no idea. I really respect your opinion.
Sure.
You review the show.
Well, it's great.
It's fucking awesome.
All right. Well, you know what? People don't want to hear me and you having this conversation. That's fine. Nobody wants. You're awesome. No, you're awesome. No, you're the most awesomest. Nobody gives a shit. But that's fine. But this is what I did this week. So Heather finishes. Morris and Baby show back up, and Baby forgets her lines. Because again, Drunk Lily is playing Baby, and she is just fucking gone by this point. Because she's still drinking. Earlier, keep my change, go get my change. She drank that too. Drunk Lily / Baby is hoovering up every drink in sight just to keep her knee pain in check. So she forgets her lines, and the best part is Morris just looks at her and he goes, "We don't need no script, baby." Huge laugh, thankfully. And then they bring on the next dancer, who is Carmel Knowledge. Carmel Knowledge comes out, and she did "Baby I'm a Star," which I expected to hear that, but she brought she had this purple outfit, and it was like, I can't even explain it. There was stuff hanging off of it that was like diamond shaped, I like almost like rhinestones or something. God damn, it looked amazing. And then she also can dance her ass off, so she's dancing and running around and just, it was amazing. And they had purple lighting on her, so she kind of looked purple in the light too, which was cool. It was great. I thought she had purple body makeup on. I mean, oh, okay, was that what it was? No way. Okay, cool, because I saw, yeah.
Her body was purple.
That's what I thought. Because I thought it was like the really deep purple lighting, but I'm like, wow, she looks really purple, and the outfit was purple too. How great. Oh, good, I'm smart. All right, I'm smarter than I thought. So Carmel Knowledge finishes, and then Baby and Morris have a discussion. And then I think Cece was next. Is that true? What's Cece's full name?
Cece Cum Loud.
Cece Cum Loud came out. I think I've seen her do other things too.
She's only performed one other time at the show, and it was an actual graduation number.
I didn't see her. So she did Sexy Motherfucker.
She's another trained dancer.
Well, it showed. She was another one who like danced and was doing spins and fucking jumping around. And you're like, because that changes the game. You know what I mean? I've seen enough burlesque where girls come out and just kind of sashay and go heel toe and walk and kind of give it. They'll look over their shoulder at you. It's like, enough of the shoulders. We get it. Dance. Do something. But this girl danced her ass off to Sexy Motherfucker, and then and was really, really good. So she finishes and she goes off stage, and then there was a sketch, of course, with Baby and Morris, and I think wasn't there a third person involved in this one? Didn't someone he might have brought Jerome over because it distracted from the fact that Sheila took the stage, because I didn't even see Sheila get on stage. Because some girls, like I said, when the music starts, they'll come in from off stage, but some girls like to start on stage. So this girl Sheila. They announced Sheila Starr, who had been in the earlier Apollonia 6 catfight. And Sheila Starr is on the stage, and Thieves in the Temple starts. and she did a belly dancer type number to it with the costume, and it was fucking sexy and hot, and she was really good looking, and she put at the end of it, she's laying on her back, and she's got a chain around her neck, and she keeps spinning the chain and wrapping it around her waist, and then spinning off the chain, and then spinning it, almost like using it like you would nunchucks, like putting it around her arms and putting it around her waist, and then she lays down on her back, and she kicks her feet in the air, so she's an L, and she takes the chain, and she's holding the chain between her feet, and she's pulling her own head up with her feet with the chain, like wrapping them around her legs. And I can't, dudes, crazy. Yeah, crazy sexy. Like, anytime you see a barefoot girl on her back with a chain around her neck, I mean, how is that not sexy? Everybody in the fucking building is just pretending they're Jabba the Hutt, and that's fucking Leia right there at her feet. Opa bopa and Solo. So she pulls that chain, and she's got it wrapped around her feet, and she's pulling her own body up, so she's inverted almost into a V at that point, and then she slides down and lets the chain slip to her feet with her legs still in the air. And I'm on the proper side of the stage where I could see her legs, or I don't, fuck, whatever. I'm on the good side of the stage. I'm not where her skull is, all right? I'm on the other side where her legs are in the air. I'm on the good side of the L, all right? Let's put it that way. And I get a nice little gupper shot, and she's got the chain wrapped around her feet. Like, yeah, that's working for me all the way. And again, I turn around, tough guys, we're enraptured, we high five. She punches me again. Yes, tough guy. So she finishes. And time is winding down now, and Baby does this little sketch, and she does a thing, and Baby talks to Morris talks to Baby, and then Jerome comes over with the mirror, and then they sit down, and Black Sweat plays. The song Black Sweat. Now, if you don't know anything about it, Prince made an album called The Black Album that never came out. It was bootlegged by a million people, and you can actually get it now. I think he actually put a lot of the songs out when on 3121 is actually where Black Sweat ended up. But when he made the Black Album, it got bootlegged because he never put it out, and he was dispute with the record company, and then they whatever the fuck. But it's ridiculous stuff, and Black Sweat is an amazing song. So Black Sweat starts, and there's a girl named Jezebel Thunder, so I mentioned earlier, huh? Is it Thunders or Thunder? Jezebel Thunder. The thing happens again where the music starts, and Black Sweat is again, it's just a sexy fucking raw song, and it starts playing, and I'm like, all right, something good is going to happen here. Because I don't know, again, she didn't introduce anybody, so I don't know who it is, but the crowd parts, and Jezebel Thunder walks out, and she walks to the stage, and she's new. She's been doing it a year, right? Okay. Well, I think I saw her second performance ever, and it was still very good. I was like, wow, that girl's good. Look, I don't know if there's such a thing as the big leagues of burlesque. I don't know if there's such a thing where people are getting called up to the big leagues, or they start in the minor leagues and then they work their way up. But if I saw her at her second performance ever, and I thought she was good, she should be on a Vegas stage at this point for stage presence alone. She's beautiful. She can dance. And this number was all sex. Like, it was just crazy, raw, filthy sex. And she conveyed that completely with every fucking move of her eyebrow. Look, I always complain about shoulders. Her shoulders were in play. Her shoulders were absolutely in play. Her knees, her ass, her shoulders, her hair, her face, everything was working independently of one another, and yet together. I mean, it was fantastic. And it changed the room. Okay, because Cece had done well, and Sheila had done very well with the chain and stuff, but that was, Thieves in the Temple's it's kind of a mellow song. So her number was, I guess, I would say mellow compared to like other things. Well, when Black Sweat starts, that's just, take your shirt off and fucking start grabbing people. I mean, it's that kind of song. Seriously. Open the doors because there might be a fire. Spontaneously, like everyone's going to burst into flames, and we won't care because the last thing we will have heard is Black Sweat, and we will die happy. So it starts playing, and she comes out, and she she's just human fuck. I mean, it was like she was on stage, jumping, grinding, and everybody in the room was staring at her. Everybody was looking, and not the weird, like, yay, we're all having a good time while this dance is happening, but that weird guys in a strip club, like, holy shit, what would happen if we all tackled her and fucked her right at this moment? Would anything bad happen? And we're all kind of looking at one another like with, you've got my back, right? In case this goes bad. In case this goes, you're my alibi. If we all go ahead and jump on her, you're all cool with that, right? Yes, we are. Good. All right. I just want to make sure everybody's on everybody's side because everybody in that fucking room had a hard on. Everybody. Cock or clit, I don't care. Everyone in that fucking room had a hard on for that girl for that fucking 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Jesus Christ. Grinding, moving. And the best part of it was some burlesque dancers, you can see them thinking. You can actually see them going, all right, I got to do this and I got to twirl this and then I got to grab that and I got to move here and I got to go there and spin this way. She was just letting it happen. She was just fucking unleashed. Unleashed. That's a good way to put it because she was out there and she, you know what she looks like kind of in the face to me? Donna Summer. Like she has like beautiful, like a Donna Summer face. And she was half lidded with a huge smile on her face. She like if that's her fuck face, I don't know who's fucking her, but he's got to be the happiest person on the planet. He or she, whatever the fuck she decides to sleep with, has got to have that face burned into their mind forever because it was the most fascinating O face I've seen in the history of burlesque. Because it was just like half lidded with like a kind of a half smile. Like she was almost like in a trance, like a fuck trance. It was the weirdest thing. Look, you think I'm overselling it. I'm not joking. There's 100 people in the room frozen staring at her do her thing. And people like it was almost to the point, all right, you watch that show and when the girls take their clothes off, some guys will go, woo! Because it's like you're making them feel like they're doing a good job. You're encouraging them and you're helping them along. At some point, she's dancing, and she goes to take her clothes off, and one guy's like, woo! And people are like, shh! Like, shut up! Because the fact that you woo makes me remember that there's anybody else in the room besides me and that girl, and I don't ever want to think of that possibility. I don't want to ever think about the fact that there's anyone in here but me and Jezebel Thunder, and she's doing that dance for me. Because if you woo, I got to acknowledge that you're here, and 98 other fucking people are here, and fuck that. Because right now it is just me and her, and nothing but opportunity between us. God damn it. So she goes off for 3 and 12 and just fucking destroys the place to the point where it was this kind of vibe. She finishes, okay, and everybody goes crazy, like crazy standing ovation, crazy standing up, going nuts, and won't stop. It was like they retired her number. Like it was that kind of fucking amazing where nobody would let it die. She waved and she walked off stage and we wanted her to give us she went deep in the ninth and we wanted a curtain call. It was that fucking amazing. We just stood there and it's funny. We all stood up and cheered and we all kind of bent over at the waist a little bit so we couldn't show the fact that all of us were hard. But we're just trying to, we're trying to yell our hard-ons away. That's what we're doing is we're standing up. There's so much sexual tension. We're just now screaming, woo, at the top of our lungs, hoping to God that it will relieve us in some way. Because there's nowhere near enough room in the bathroom for 100 people to pair off and jerk off. Jesus, was it hot. So she walks off. The place goes nuts, standing ovation. To the point where Lily stands up to do her sketch as Baby and stands there. While people are cheering, and they kept cheering. This is a full minute they cheered for this woman. I'm not kidding. And Lily finally, because her knee is fucked, she sits down and goes, "I'll wait, keep going." And people kept clapping, and then finally it died down and it finished. And then it was so great. It was so great. Because again, like I said, you see bad burlesque, you want to run and hide. You see good burlesque, and you want to relive it forever. Forever. You wish that you could, because 3 minutes, again, 3 and 12, not nearly enough. I could have watched her do that for 24 fucking hours. And I bet she could. So Lily sits down, and the cheering subsides, and then Baby stands up. And Morris comes out, and Lily and Baby's like, you know what? I want to find Prince. And Morris is like, you don't want Prince or whatever. And she's like, no, I wish that somehow I could just. I'm blowing the lines, obviously, but
Not the line.
sure, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I said, I really think I fucked the wrong black man.
You did say that.
And then I went, if I could just find Prince.
And because Morris left when you said that, Morris left, and then you said, if I could just find Prince, and then the keyboard note for "Let's Go Crazy," and then "Dearly Beloved." We have gathered here today to get to this thing called life. And everybody goes crazy because it's this, it's Let's Go Crazy. And it's also because of the song alone, there's a vibe in the room. Okay. So baby moves off, and then the stage is empty. And again, there's that ruckus over by the side door. And, electric word, life means forever, but it's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you, there's something else, the afterworld. And then coming through the people, you just see Prince.
Yeah.
I can't even say it any different, or it was Prince who walks through the people and owns the entire building. Because honestly, when Jezebel finished, in my head, because I knew... I knew who this entire show was built around. So I knew that was coming up to be the closing number. But when Jezebel finished, I'm like, she's not going to be able to follow her. Because I didn't look at the lineup. I'm saying, in my head, I'm going, I hope there's a buffer act. Because there's no way the closer can follow that. That was amazing. But Prince walks out from the group of people. And then when the light hits Prince... it's no offense. I love Jezebel and she was fantastic, but she might as well have not even been in the room because everybody goes fucking bananas. When I said earlier that Heather was wearing a purple duster, it was kind of a dirty purple. This girl's wearing the shiny purple duster. Prince is wearing the shiny purple duster with the ruffled shirt, the white ruffled shirt, and the perfect hair and the mustache, and comes walking out with the Prince boots. And owns the room. One step, looks around. One step, looks around. And doesn't hit the stage until the one, Dr. Everything's be all right, and hits the stage. And then turns around and just starts dancing. And this is a performer named Lux Lacroix. Now, Lux Lacroix, I've mentioned her before. She's in the Tarantino show and does the Jackie Brown number, which is fucking amazing. And she's a professional dancer. And in this town, that means fuck all. But she tours with Usher. Is that who it is?
She choreographs for Usher and Jay-Z and...
But who's she been on the road with the past year?
She's been on tour with Alvin Ailey.
The Alvin Ailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been on tour with the Alvin Ailey dance troupe.
Yeah.
And she choreographs for Jay-Z. She choreographs stage stuff, not the fucking booty clap videos. She does the stage dancers for Jay-Z and Usher. And she makes her living as a professional dancer. And she comes out, and so that alone will tell you what she did. She's dressed as Prince, looks exactly like Prince, because she's only 5 feet tall, this girl. And she's tiny. And now she's dressed up like Prince with the Prince hair and the makeup on. And she just starts dancing and owns the place, destroys it. Everybody goes crazy. Everybody's standing up now at this point. They're standing up, and Let's Go Crazy is playing. And she takes the purple duster off, and she's wearing the ruffled shirt, and she's dancing. And here's the thing that this is fucking beautiful, all right? She's dancing, and it's amazing, and she looks like Prince, and everything is great. But then she stops, and she looks out at the crowd. And there's a scene where Prince in Purple Rain, he does that thing where he starts spinning in place, and he's licking his fingers, and he's rubbing his hands over his face, and it's all micro movements. Does that make sense? Like he's all like, he looks almost like he's a robot moving slowly, but he's moving quickly. And she does that. She just starts breaking out, and she does the Prince dance where she's putting the hands over her face, and she's got her tongue out, and she licks her finger, and she does the spin, and she's spinning around in place, and she's moving, and then she starts moving all over the stage, and she does it for like 45 seconds spinning. I mean, how the fuck? I don't know how you can fucking do that, but she's doing it with the hands up, and she spins and does the whole Prince dance for like 45 seconds again. And as if you couldn't take it to a higher level, she did. She absolutely did. It went even higher. So when she busted out the Prince moves, that was crazy. She did the splits, did the fucking Prince split, and came up out of the split. And then danced and stripped. And then, it's like if you saw Prince and he stripped all the way down, and you were like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm in, perfect. Which he used to do. Fuck. And so she spins around. It's like the Let's Go Crazy, the the guitar, and then it goes crazy. And she jumps and lands on her knees and spreads and like spread legged and leans all the way back. And when she does it, Baby is behind her, sitting down off stage, but just enough, close enough, and pulls a confetti cannon and shoots purple confetti all over her in the audience. And she's laying there crazy. And the place goes crazy, and the purple confetti all over everybody. And Lux Lacroix, as Prince, stands up, and as Prince himself would do, leaves. Doesn't wave, doesn't say thank you, doesn't smile. Turns around and walks off. Just bails, just splits, leaves, walks right out, walks back into the back room. And none of us know what to do. Because it's like, again, it's that thing where you're so happy to have seen things created that you'll never forget, that you don't know what to do with yourself. You want to grab people and shake them and go, you saw that, right? We've got this forever. We've got this forever, right? And we're just looking at one another and people are cheering and going crazy. And then Lily goes on stage, she's baby and she's got the chair. She goes, I got to sit down because my knee's all fucked. And then she does the curtain call. And the thing is, like I said, they had not introduced any of the dancers. They just had the music start and then the dancers came out and did their thing. So this was truly an introductory curtain call because they would come out and then she would say their names. So she introduces them all one by one. Everybody comes out and amazingly gets fucking, everybody goes nuts for Jezebel Thunder and Red Snap. I mean, everybody, and I don't need to do the roll call here. I've said their names throughout the show. But then, of course, Lily's introducing them all. And she brings Morris out and she brings Jerome out. Yeah, loaded, crazy loaded, and took a victory lap. That was the thing. The funniest thing to me is she's like, this is the curtain call where she always tells me, Business Lily tells me, she's like, when you do the curtain call, don't mess up the girls' names. Make sure you get it right and just bang, bang, bang. Get them out there, let them take their bow and then move right to the next girl. Nobody gets to hog the stage. Nobody gets to come out there and make it like their big pageant. You say their name, they take their bow, you go to the next girl. Well, then Lily sits down with a microphone and she's like, I remember when I was 12. I mean, like just this crazy long ass speech. She's like, I've been in this room forever, 13 years and burlesque is my life and I like bras. And I'm like, oh boy, baby. So Morris, you got to put something in baby's mouth. You got to slow her down here. But she brought everybody out for their curtain call, and then she said, this is her 5-year anniversary in booking the show by herself there at the Room, and of course a huge ovation for that, and everybody was very nice. And then for some reason she decided to do birthday spankings, which I thought was gilding the lily. We didn't need it, but it's part of her tradition. So she brought a couple people out of the audience to spank them, and they came down to get spanked. But the smart thing was she let all of the strippers just wail on them, because normally Lily handles it, and this time she's like, all right, everybody, have at it. Thanks for coming. Let's get drunk. And I'm like, too late. And then everybody went off and they're spanking everyone and dancing and and then Erotic City starts playing, so then it's even weirder, like an orgy, like everyone's getting close to one another. There's like and because now there's like 20 half naked chicks on stage grinding on one another to Erotic City, and I'm like, I gotta go back to life, but I don't want to leave this room ever again, because this room is literally, that club was like my brain. Like if you could look in my head, you would see 20 half naked chicks grinding to Erotic City. That's what you would see, and me, just me standing there like, yeah. God damn it. Fucking amazing. So I walked up to Lily and she was very nice. She's like, was it good? I said, well, yeah, yes, it was very good. I'll tell you about it later, because I knew I was going to talk about it on the show. And I went and said goodbye, and I talked about leaving. And I will tell you this, man, because I had friends, I talked to my friend and she was like, I'm so disappointed I missed it. And in my head, I'm like, you have no idea how disappointed you really were, because it was fantastic. But you don't want to say that to someone. But I was like, you missed it. It was really good. And I felt bad that Karen hadn't been there, because I wanted Karen to see it. Honestly, I wanted everybody to see it. It was so good. I loved it. I had such an amazing time, and I love Prince anyway, so it had special meaning to me. And then the fact that people went deep cuts and they went regular cuts. You know what song I wanted to hear? It's funny. There's a song called Hot Thing off of fucking Sign of the Times, and whenever I hear that song, it's sex. It's just a sex song, and because just the opening riff. And it's funny, when I saw Prince last year, he did 20 shows here, and I saw him twice, and he would sit down at a piano, and I think I talked about this. He had snippets of songs that he would program into a soundboard, and he would hit it and would play a snippet of it and people would go crazy. He played Erotic City, like a snippet of it, and people went nuts. And then he played the snippet of Hot Thing. And I in my mind, I never thought I would be in the same room as Prince hearing Hot Thing. It just seemed like a song he wouldn't play live. And especially now that he's a Jehovah's Witness, he won't play it live. But the fact that he just hit that thing and it started to play, and he like stood up on the piano and like looked at everybody like, yeah, who wrote this fucking song? And the place is like, yeah, you! Fucking amazing. So I like, when I hear Hot Thing or when I hear Black Sweat, these are just songs, and 17 Days is my all-time favorite Prince song, and I Love You and Me, all these just great songs, and you could do this over and over and over and never run out. You could never use the same song twice. If you wanted to do more bits and different dances, you could do this show 5, 6, 7 times and use different songs every single time. And the good news is they're doing the show again. Because the response was so good, and Lily was so excited about it, and she had already made up her mind that night, probably drunk Lily. Yeah, I'll do it now.
I turned over 40 people away.
Yeah. So now when you do it again, you'll get the repeat business and those 40 people. So it's going to be a fucking free for all. It's going to be a fucking free-for-all when you do it, but it's going to be fantastic. Folks, if you live in LA, you have to go. If you don't live in LA, you have to get here. Because you might get lucky enough to see the same show that I saw, which was fantastic, or you might get even more lucky and see a better show, which is possible. Because there are so many different songs, there's so many different performers, but all of that really is in play. None of that matters. If you got that show, these performers, that songs, to me, the one constant, the thing that guarantees that you will see a fantastic show, is the fact that Lily Von Stupp is putting it together. And it was reinforced the other night when I sat there and I watched it. She was great. No MC. It was such a brilliant choice. And they have Heather Henderson start the second half, and then Jezebel Thunder's destroyed. And you knew you had Lux in the pocket sitting there. No wonder you took a victory lap, because you had to realize how amazing it was going to be. Because you knew it was coming up. Other people didn't, but you knew it was coming. There's nothing better when you know what's coming up and you know how it's going to hit hard. And that's such a great feeling. So, folks, you got to go to this show when they do it again. And I know you're like, well, fuck, I got to put it on my calendar. I need a date. Why would I give you a date, folks? I want to keep you in suspense. I want to make sure you don't know when it is, because if I tell you now when it is, you're going to start calling because you think tickets are on sale. Maybe tickets aren't on sale just yet. I mean, I know you got to get here. I know you got to make your plane tickets. You got to fly and make your travel arrangements to get here, because the LA Podfest is in October. You're wondering, is it close by then? Maybe you can team it up and have the LA Podfest and also this Monday Night Tease. I'm afraid it isn't. I don't even know why I brought that up. I got your hopes up for a second there, didn't I? That would have been awesome. Like a crazy Schmidt-Lilly double header. That would have been fun. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The LA Podfest is in October, but our friend Lily is doing this show again later this year, like I mentioned. And, maybe if you live in a cold weather climate, you want to come out here and experience some warm weather during the winter months, you would want to make this trip November 12th. Monday night, November 12th, the Monday Night Tease represents Erotic Titty, the tribute to Prince. Plane, train, boat, or bus, make sure you're there, because that night we're going to party like we did on July 9th, 2012. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at Twitter.com/MNTs or Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can also be your friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can go to Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and be friends with the genius behind the show who did that erotic titty thing you heard earlier and also played all of the music and commercials and everything you've ever heard. Anything you've ever heard good on this show, David Mex Hernandez is responsible. So go to Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and be his friend. And if you want to write Lily a personal note and find out just what sex club she was at in that picture where she's wearing a purple swimsuit on Facebook, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Must drink your coffee, must hold some pencils, must soak your forty, must hold more pencils, must throw a garbage heap around these mugs. There's flame bush mini on these mugs. Go buy these wicked awesome mugs at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Mugs, 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 mugs.
I feel I should remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease. Every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. They put on some great shows there, I've been told. Last week's show was a big hit. Who was there last week?
That would have been Prince.
Oh, I saw a show about Prince last week.
Weird.
That is weird. The producer of that show is our friend Lily Von Stupp, who's right here, sitting across from me with a laptop just between us. Hey, Lily,
Yes, Michael.
how are you?
I am good.
Last week was fantastic, as I've covered. And this week, coming up, is it a theme show?
It is. It's Doc Fest.
Docfest.
Yes, it is the celebration of
Julius
LA's
Irving.
LA's favorite straight man, Doc of Doc and Stumpy.
Oh, okay.
He's having his birthday, and we have an all-star studded cast again, and we're doing some classic baggy pants, meet me around the corner.
So awful
It's
things.
gonna be great. Well, two-time Miss Exotic World title holder Stephanie Blake is performing,
Thank God.
and Human Fuck is performing. Miss Jezebel Thunder.
Looks like Human Fuck will be in the town.
Human Fuck. That is her new intro, by the way.
Okay.
She's gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?"
No, Human Fuck. Well, good for her.
The Human Fuck.
No, not the. Just Human Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't need a clarifier. Don't need an article. She's Human Fuck. Well, good. That sounds like a fun show. Will you be there performing? How's your knee?
My knee is fucked up. I
Still
be
bad?
for me. Yeah.
All right.
I won't be.
Okay. Well, hopefully it'll be better soon.
It should be.
Okay. it should.
not?
It should be, or it won't be, or we'll cut it off. What the hell?
And then I'll be Lily, the one-legged stripper.
And it, like, what's that song? Lydia, oh Lydia, Lilia, oh Lilia, the one-legged stripper. I like it. And I'm sure someone will find a way to dance to that and take off their clothes.
It will be me.
Yeah, no, it will not. Some other goofball who shows up.
Named Eileen.
Really? You just cut that out. That's awful that you would even bother. Because now there was all this goodwill and people were going to come to your show, and now you did that horrible joke, and then it was like, oh, why would I want to see that? Good Christ. Be better. Be better than that.
Better than I just put on a motherfucking Prince show.
Yes, puppet.
It was awesome.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I forgot you're there. Just Lily and I having some fun, having a chat. I forgot your iPod vaginas were all engorged. So, folks, that's the Monday Night Tease. Go check it out. 3 Clubs, Santa Monica and Vine, every Monday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Best burlesque show, longest running burlesque show in Los Angeles. Remember, you can go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and bring me to town. Well, at least you can try to bring me to town. There's plenty of pages out there for you to join. Detroit and San Antonio and London. And there's now a new page, Bring Mike Schmidt to St. Louis. I would love to go and see the Arch and a Cardinal. So go ahead and join that page. But I will have to say this, all right? I saw this on Facebook. The Facebook page for Bring Mike Schmidt to St. Louis was posted, and someone then posted it on their page in a nice way to try to generate interest. They posted it on their own page. And they said, hey, do me a favor. Join this page. Because the more people join, it means that, and then they said, don't join unless you plan on buying tickets to come, please. Because this is a really funny guy, and I like him from a podcast, and I would love it if he came to town. All we need is 30. I'm going to step in here and tell you that is woefully low. If we get 30 people who say that they want me to come to St. Louis, they need to tell 20 more friends at least. Yeah. To buy tickets and bring me to St. Louis, because I pay for everything myself. Plane, theater, hotel, and people will write me and they'll say, what does it take to get you to come to town? We'll set up the page, and then if there's some real interest, I can go about looking for a date somewhere. And unfortunately, 30 is not going to do it. We need a few more than that. So once I can see some real momentum and I can start looking around, if I find it, and that can change, by the way, if I find a space that fits me and is a decent rate, then I can come there with a smaller amount of people on Facebook. But I really need you to buy tickets for these shows, or I have to stop going out and doing live shows. And I don't mean that as some weird threat. I just mean it as, unfortunately, the realistic situation that I'm faced with. Case in point, Indianapolis. Hi, guys. How are you? I had this happen with Austin, Texas before, too, where I thought I was actually going to have to cancel Austin, Texas. And I was just going to bank the airfare because I think I had only sold like 6 tickets or something like that, 2 weeks before the show or a week before the show. And then luckily people stepped up and I wound up doing okay. And we wound up with a fairly full house at the Cold Town. But I just had the same problem with Kansas City where it was real light until the final week before the show, and I sold a lot of tickets that week. I think I sold like 18 tickets or something. Whatever, fuck. You guys know, you heard. Well, Indianapolis, man, same boat. I have to start hard selling you people because you were one of the first pages. Kansas City and Indianapolis, I think, were the first 2 pages to bring me to town. And you guys, whatever the fuck, you don't need a scolding, but nobody's buying tickets. I mean, I'll just be flat out. I rented this room, I paid, I got a flight, and I'm staying with my friend Heidi. But at the same fucking time, man, I can't lose money on these trips. So Indianapolis, how great would it be if you bought some tickets? So great, because otherwise it's going to be uncomfortable for all of us. You're going to see me do an entire show about how I couldn't sell any tickets. You don't want that, do you? Nobody wants that. I know it's funnier to you when I bitch about stuff, but I'm sorry, hold on, I got to say, I am freaked out by that thing that's floating in your sink. What the fuck is that? Floating above the faucet. Like, what's floating in midair there? Is that a key? Oh, okay. All right. Jesus. Okay. Well, all I saw was this. If you look at it, put it up again that way, and all I see, dude, it's like it was the sippy cup lid, like you get a big gulp in, and it had a little, the top stopper that goes on the straw. Well, it was just hanging in midair, so I thought it was floating. I thought it was some magic trick of Eddie's, like in the sink, and I've been staring at it the entire time, waiting for it to move. Because then I thought it was like a spider descending from the skies, and I'll get into that in a fucking second. But I mean, Jesus Christ, was that weird? All right, that freaked me out. Sorry. Bottom line is, Indianapolis, buy some tickets. Green Bay, buy some tickets. Philadelphia, buy some tickets, because I have lost sight of what these shows are about. I'm traveling to cities, and I'm having dinner with people, and I'm enjoying them, and I'm going to baseball games and having a good time. And you know what? I got to sell fucking tickets, or it doesn't make any sense to go. Green Bay, I talked about going to the Bears game on Thursday. And people wrote me, and they're like, dude, I'm looking into Bears tickets and all this. We're trying to get them. It's going to cost some money. But and then I looked at the prices. The lowest price I found on StubHub was like $255 for a ticket to the Bears game. And that's for one ticket if I went by myself. Okay. And then I've had some people who are like season ticket holders, and they've stepped up and said they might have tickets for me, so it wouldn't cost them money. But here's the bottom line, folks. If you're looking for Packers tickets, Bears tickets, don't buy tickets to my show. I'm coming to Green Bay, and I've sold no tickets there. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I've sold 4 tickets in Green Bay. Granted, that show's 2 months down the line. I've put Philadelphia on sale 3 weeks ago. I've sold 0 tickets. And again, that's not your fault. It's my fault for not being a name. It's my fault for not being a draw. It's my fault for thinking I can come to these cities and get people to buy them. And it's funny because Philadelphia, last time I went, was such a problem, and I sold very few tickets. But I thought, well, you know what? Maybe it's been a year. Things have changed, and people, word of mouth will spread, and people will come to see me. Well, unfortunately, no, that's not the case. Well, it will be eventually, but I mean, it's fucking October. I got time to sell tickets, and I don't mean to have a fucking panic attack on you here, but Jesus Christ, I've lost sight of it. There's no reason why the reason you guys have is because I have. We're treating it like I'm coming out to meet everybody. That's not the case. I'm coming out to do a fucking show. Buy tickets to that show. After the fact, we can worry about going to have a fucking sandwich or whatever. But I mean, we're buying baseball tickets and baseball games and having fun and going to the CN Center and all that shit is incidental to me coming to town and doing a show that I'm really proud of and I want you to see. So buy tickets, Indianapolis. Buy tickets, Green Bay. Buy tickets, Philadelphia. Get more than 30 people, St. Louis. Come out and see the show, because I'm telling you, as fucking great a time as we're going to have having a sandwich, or as cool a time as we'll have at the Packers and the Bears, I guarantee you'll have a better time watching me do my fucking show on stage. And you think I'm wrong? Ask the people in Kansas City. Ask the people in New York who saw me. Ask the people in Toronto or Portland or fucking Seattle or Phoenix who've come up to me afterwards and went, Jesus Christ. Ask Derek, who's come to see me in 3 different cities. John Fleur, who's come to see me in 3 different cities. Liana, who's come to see me in different cities. Everybody who's come multiple times. And I know that also kind of gets to the fact that maybe I'm only selling tickets to these people, which is not good. But it should be an indicator to you that you need to come and see my show. So please buy tickets and check me out, because I love doing it. And if people don't buy tickets, I can't. Like I said, Facebook.com/the40yearboy. You can be my friend there. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you can go to Joe Business page. Plenty of changes coming to the Joe Business page in the coming weeks. But I can tell you now, while you go there, you can go and click on the Zazzle link and get a link to buy Thorgar and Yeep mugs or Fireboy mugs. You can click on the tweakedaudio.com/40 link and buy cock ring watches or autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds. Always available. 24 hours a day on the net. It's weird that they're open 24 hours a day, but they are. And you can also click on the Joe Business page up in the upper left-hand corner, every page, I should say, on MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can make a donation to the show. You can either donate $2, $5, $10, or $25 a month. Or you can make a one-time donation, which is always appreciated. I'm very happy about that. I will get back to saying names, as I mentioned, in the future. But I want to thank everybody who signed up for multiple donations. People who have signed up to commit to a monthly thing. Anybody who sent a one-time donation, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it very much. It pays for the server fees. And it all gets funneled back into the show. It pays for me to come out to see you. It pays for me to go fly and do a show and rent a theater. All the money you contribute is just fucking rolled back in. Believe me, it's not. I'm not laying back on stacks of cash. Everything gets rolled in. Lily gets some. David gets some. Everything works out. So all your donations are so appreciated. I can't thank you enough. Every time you buy something from the site, Tweaked Audio, they give me some money, and Zazzle, we get the money from the mugs, and also there's the download sets. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, Year 4, and if you wanted to buy all of them together, that's the Podcast of the Caribbean set, featuring the On Stranger Mikes and Curse of the Black Schmidt, and all of those amazing shows. So go ahead and buy them. It's all 4 years combined into one. It's basically 4 years for the price of 3. Or you can buy the individual sets. Like I said, right there, there's a link. Click on it and go through, and PayPal will tell you what to do. I'd appreciate it, and I guarantee you, so will you. Remember, the Los Angeles Pod Festival, the Podcast Festival, is in October. I think it's October 12th. I don't remember the date. I think it's the week before I go to Philly. And remember, I'm going, I should tell you, I do know, I'm going to Portland, too, for the Warrior Dash. So, yeah, I think you can still sign up for that. I don't know where I'm staying yet. I haven't bought a plane ticket. Still got to do all that stuff. But I'm definitely coming and definitely doing that. I'm excited. What was I saying before Warrior Dash, before I got segued over? Oh, the LA Pod Festival, which is in October 12th, I believe. There's a whole weekend of events. If you come out, there's the hotel packages. If you go to lapodfest.com, there's all sorts of hotel rooms, and I don't think there's a schedule of shows yet. At least they haven't told me about one just yet. But go ahead and buy tickets and come out. There's Mark Maron, there's me, there's Greg Barrett and Dave Anthony, of course, Chris and Graham, who run the Comedy Film Nerds podcast, which, by the way, also the Comedy Film Nerds book is available at Amazon.com or at ComedyFilmNerds.com. And anybody who buys that book, if you bring it to a show, I'll be happy to sign it for you. I'm happy to sign anything for you. By the way, that's what always makes me laugh is people approach me at the show. I'll sign boobs. I don't care. Sorry, I'll sign boobs on TV. I'll sign tits live.
Will you sign a titty?
No, out. Can't do it. That's not happening. So yeah, the Comedy Film Nerds book. I'll sign anything live. People are always weird. Like, can you sign my ticket stub? Yes, please. I want you to have my name. Take it. Enjoy it. Thank you. I'm honored to be asked. So anybody who wants anything from me, just ask. And remember that the Comedy Film Nerds book, LA Pod Festival, that's all squared away. And now I'm trying not to freak out at that thing that's still because it's still suspended in midair. It's like so weird. I literally thought, thank you, get rid of it. Look, you can make a face at me, but I don't fucking care. I'm looking there. It's floating in midair, and I thought it was because how many times have you seen a spider just come down in front of your face, and it's all freaky. And fuck spiders, by the way. You know what, spiders? Fuck you. We get it, okay? Silk comes out of your ass. It's not impressive anymore. We don't like it. You just fucking. I walked through fucking 5 spider webs the last 3 days, just walking around by where I work in a parking garage, in like outside in like the real world in a hallway. Hey, fuck spiders, in or out, pick one. Pick one, okay? You can be outside with your webs and shooting silk out of your ass, or you can be inside. Just tell us, warn us, because then I want to know one place where I can walk and I'm not going to get a face full of your ass web, all right? I don't want your ass silk all over my face. And by the way, why are you fucking around with, because I know you're just doing it to fuck with us. There's no way you're building a web all the way across a hallway. I mean, you're not going to fucking, you're not stupid enough to think that you're going to complete that web before humans walk through it, right? You make silk out of your ass. Why aren't you making spider money? Like make some spider bank. Take that silk and sell it on the open market. Fucking spin a big fucking shirt and go, haha, spider silk, done. Don't make a fucking web that's just annoying to everybody. God damn it, spiders. Because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go over this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where are you going, boy?